So yeah. I was not planning on being on tonight. And then I realized as I was looking around on the internet that apparently today is Women's Day, which to me, honestly, every day should be Women's Day. But I figured, you know what? I have so many amazing, strong, capable, intelligent, wonderful women that follow and support me. So why not give them a moment? And Nani, don't start Nani, all right? Trying to do my intro here, and she making me laugh and shit. Well, I figure that I would redeem myself from the other night's hey AJ, the other night's hangout. So this is for all of you guys, for all the women, for all the anyone who aspires to be a woman. It doesn't matter if you are born that way or you just end up that way. We're all here. We all should be supporting and loving and nurturing and all that stuff. Uh, hey, Muffin. AJ's dancing already. She's doing her can-cans and all that stuff. Yeah, I had nothing planned, so figure we just wing it. No, Angie, no. And Nani's already got pictures she wants to send me, so I'm scared. I'm scared. Hey, Michelle, welcome back. Happy Women's Day. And the reason I say all my flowers is it's what I call my subscribers. Well, I used to call them my buddlings, which was kind of hokey, but flowers are, they're beautiful and they always bloom and blossom, so why not? Why not? So how are we all doing? Yay, happy Women's Day all. And I'm sure Michael B Michael B in here soon. He doesn't care if there's a he doesn't care if it's a women's hangout, he'll be in here. He's like one of our honorary women here, right? Start calling him like Misha instead of Mike or Mika. That'd be a cool name for him, right? Muffin, it's up to you to come up with a female name for Mike if he happens to come in. Wasn't it? Wasn't it? AJ, that paper. Jenny! Hey girl, hey. My favorite candle maker. I know, AJ. I was just watching it. I can't. I can't. I'm telling you, it without fail, there is a struggle for me to open some sort of packaging, some sort of I'm telling you, these cosmetic companies, they know how to kill us. They legit do. The worst, because Muffin, you're the only other person that can control Mike here besides me. Hey, Amy. I think that these cosmetic companies are out to get us. They really are. Hey, Tanya. No, I just texted you, dum dum. But you weren't first, girlfriend, so whatever. I think the worst packaging to open is Wet and Wild. I cannot tell you how many times I have broken nails. I have ripped apart half the package, broken the plastic. It's so flippin' annoying. Jenny, I got to go back to your Scentsy. Since you have a wrench, Jen, if you could put a link to your page for your candles, I would really appreciate that because I've got to go back and I've got to support as I really love those candles. Hey, Bipolar, welcome, welcome, welcome. Guys, this is the Bipolar Corner. If anyone's been following the mess that is the Rewired Soul, Bipolar Corner made some amazing videos on the subject, and so I'm glad he's here because I'm sure we'll talk about mental illness in some capacity. We always do. Yeah, you are in charge, Muffin. Hi, Leanne. Oh, I'm so sorry, Leanne. Leanne, I got to give you a wrench because I can't see when you come in. I can't see my girl. Yay. Yeah, that'd be awesome. I think while we're talking about women, we should be supporting women's businesses. And, if any of you guys have anything that you want to post on the side there, if you have anything that we can support as a community, definitely do that. I think it would be a really great thing to do. You are back in the wrench crew, Leanne. Leanne, we got to do a hangout, a private talk, what have you. I feel like I haven't talked to you in ages. Really, really need a Leanne. I need a Leanne one-on-one. But yeah, so anything you guys feel like sharing tonight, to let your fellow sister know what you're doing. I mean, I know you guys talk on Twitter and everything. Muffin, that means to a certain point. Oh my God, AJ, I'm sorry. I was like looking to the left of me. I didn't see it. I was cleaning. No, there will be no booting. There will be no booting. Girlfriend, any day, any day, any day. I can't talk. Any day, Leanne, any day. We can do the Google thing, whatever you want to do. If you put porn on my side chat, Muffin, I will James you. I will silence you like James. I'll kill you. You can do some memes. You can do some soft porn memes, but that's about as far as you can go. So bipolar, you have come into a community that exists of a good majority of women, but we have a few men here, and all of us all share in some sort of, mental illness capacity. um, oh God, oh God, AJ. But I did have this conversation the other day. I don't think anybody really was involved in it, but we did discuss the whole rewire. I can't say that flippin' name. Maybe it's better that I can't. Rewired Soul. For me, I'm coming off the side of not the drama aspect of it. I'm coming off the side of the trepidation of what it means for the mental health community to have to be scammed, be tricked, be fooled into thinking someone is going to help them. That is it's a big, big no for me. So, yes, there is, Jenny. You're going to have to deal with it. We're all sisters tonight. No matter if you're male, female, doesn't matter what you are, we're all sisters. Sisters are doing it for themselves. I know, and I'm glad that you did. I had seen videos all over the place. I was kind of like just ignoring it because for personally, if it were me, I don't know if I could be as eloquent as you were. For me, I probably would use a lot of expletives and a lot of things that I probably would get kicked off of YouTube for. But if anybody wants to share this story, I know Tanya, has her side. I have my side, of what we deal with and things like that. So it's open for discussion. Girlfriend, you're way ahead of me then, damn it, AJ. Damn you, AJ. Always ahead of me. Was it boxed though, AJ? Was it boxed stuff? I'm just gonna be all right. So I got my Woodbridge. Yeah, I could tell. I could tell. Gary, your name is it okay if I call you Gary? I feel kind of weird calling you bipolar. I know that that's weird to say, but absolutely. Yeah, I think there should be more discussions about mental illness, the stigmas, what people do, try to do, and how there is a lack of support. And then there are people out there that think it's a cash industry and they think it's okay to capitalize on that. Oh, Stella Rose, nice. Yeah, I've got skincare going on my face currently, which I'm not showing, but I look like look like a very pale albino at the moment. No, 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 no. There's no intrusion here. No intrusion here whatsoever. We're very open to all. And like I said, I have, an array of people that come and support and are on my side chat. So you're very much welcome here. Ooh, nice. Nice, AJ. Cool. They don't make that unboxed version, right? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, whatever, Tanya. Tanya's all glowy. Oh, my God. Tanya, if you want to come up, because I don't know about me navigating up here by myself, but hey, you know, I have a little anxiety every time I start opening a Hangout, which is like a normal thing for me all the time. It's kind of like I don't have really social anxiety. I guess it's like just that first few minutes when you know you have to present to people in public, and I get that like, you know, palpitation thing and kind of like my hands go cold and all that stuff. So, yeah, dealing with that. But yeah, definitely. And I have a lot of questions for you, Gary. I do have somebody in my life, very, very close to me that is currently going through this diagnosis. It's been known now for a while, but I have a lot of questions about, you know, just like in terms of dealing with in a relationship, because I struggle with it and I try to talk about it as much as possible. But hey, I can learn a lot of things. That's all right, lady. Let me link Miss Tanya. Awesome. Thank you, Jenny. Appreciate that. Anybody that wants to check that out, please do. Okay, so I have to get a certain person in here. So as I'm not up here by myself, but that would be great. I appreciate that because you know, I have a lot of wonderful women friends, but there's not very many men that I can talk to about this. And it kind of would be very, kind of be refreshing to have somebody like on the male spectrum of it to give me some pointers, advice, what have you. All right, there you go, Miss Lady. Yeah, definitely, Nani. Definitely. I said anybody that wants to post anything to support, uplift the women in this community, go right ahead. That's what this is all about. I'm gonna say no, Nani. How about that? No. Right. Right. Yeah. Oh, there she is. Hello,
And
Miss
see the
Dewy.
cute.
Hello, Miss Dewy face.
Yeah. Look at this.
Oh,
Fuchsia.
look at the. See, you scare me when you color your hair that color, because if I remember the last time you colored your hair like that, you went off on a rampage. So,
Oh no no, that was the Power Red. This is not
oh,
Power
okay.
Red. This is actually called Fuchsia Ta
Oh, cool.
Ontario.
Okay.
This is
Mm-hmm.
actually like fuchsia. It's not red. I promise. So
Nice.
let's get another women's brand here. Come on. Women
Oh,
brand.
GC
Woman-owned brand.
Squad. GC Squad.
Woman-owned brand.
Tanya, if you want to put up a link for Gerard, I mean, your link, your like whatever it is, if it supports you, helps you, go right ahead. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Frog in my throat. I can't see the side chat. Hold on one second.
Shut
I
up,
know it's
Muffin, damn it.
slow.
Oh, cool.
Tell her stop talking shit about me. I can't see her yet.
Girl, Nani, you have a wrench. Do you understand how to put in friggin' links? I don't know why that didn't show up
There
as
we go.
a actual link. Well, Leanne, you're going to hear a lot of that tonight because you know what? It's probably about time. Hi, Tanya. I know.
Shut the camera off. Hold on one second. I got to pull my hair back.
That's all right. It's cool. Oh,
Hello, Nani.
scented candles are the bomb. And I have purchased some from, thank you, Jenny. I have purchased some from Jen before, and I have to go back because I adore them. Listen, lady, don't tell me you don't
Yes, she
speak
does.
Hangouts.
And very well.
Excuse me, y'all. That's my new sidekick. Just so y'all know. I hope y'all know now. Y'all all replaced. Nani is my new sidekick. Hashtag sidekick. Not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. There you go. Sorry. Anyway, what were you saying? I am not going to stop. Leanne, if you want,
Okay.
you are more than welcome to come up if you'd like to. Because it would be my pleasure. I know, right? I had the pleasure of listening to Nani for 4 hours yesterday. Nah, 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 nah. Yes, I had the privilege of, one good thing about this community, I will say, is that when there's something terrible that happens or something, upsetting that happens, there's always some good outcome of it. Like, when you really think about it, and the fact that I have friends that support me, friends that check up on me. I mean, I don't know what I would do without this one next to me.
Right.
And you, talking about you,
Mm.
and
Oh, yeah.
Nani Nani just had me in stitches last night, and it was very well needed. And Angie as well. Angie's great, And
Mm-hmm.
Leanne, I need my one-on-one with Leanne. That's the next venture. Ain't nobody tired of you, Nani.
No way, Jose. I love Nani. Nani's the bomb.
She is the bomb. She's definitely the bomb. Do I feel better?
Jose.
Oh, that's okay. That's all right. Do I feel better? Honestly, I'm trying. I ain't gonna lie. It's still kind of like I'm still dealing with aftermath. You know, Again, that's the anxiety in me, and it's better than it was yesterday. But there's still, there's a lot of things that are going on right now. So it kind of like it fluctuates. It goes from being okay to me sitting there in my thoughts and thinking, oh, I could have prevented this, or why did this have to happen? And, that's just normal. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, right, Tanya? I mean, if you want to comment on that.
Oh, sorry. I was doing something else. I was not looking at the chat. My
Oh,
bad.
I'm
I
tired
was
of you
not
looking at stuff.
contacting anybody. I was not contacting anybody. I was
I was just
legit
gonna
just
say,
looking at an
are
email.
you texting? Listen, lady, you showing people screenshots again? Because I'm gonna have to come over there.
Amen. Yeah, I'm showing them all. I'm showing
Cool,
all y'all how
cool.
dirty y'all can be. And I'm just kidding. I love y'all. Anyway, but no, I feel I can't say better.
Mm,
Well, yeah, it's not better. It's okay. It's done.
yeah,
Now the repairing can begin. In my
yeah.
opinion, it's the healing and the repairing of whatever can happen, or hopefully will happen eventually. But that's how I feel. It's not better. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just, it is what it is. So we can hopefully just move on from it and
Mm,
learn from it and not repeat the same mistake.
true.
I am Jenny.
I think it's the apprehension from it, honestly. I think it's we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for me, I'm not going to say we. I don't know what's going to happen next. I can only control what happens with myself. I can only, and moment to moment, it's been very different because my emotions fluctuate and they go
Right.
from feeling really sad to kind of just maintaining status quo to just, trying to get my bearings into what I want to do. And honestly, I wasn't planning any hangout, anything of that nature. Um, I was not sure what I was going to do about that. If I was going to come back right away, if I was going to give it some time, whatever the case was. But I'm like,
Right. I was kind of figuring that you were going to give it a couple, even just a
yeah,
couple of days. But,
yeah,
I'm kind of glad that you didn't because,
hmm,
the faster you get back on the horse, the easier it is to kind of deal with.
well, yeah,
Whether if anybody has any
because
questions or still has any
right,
feelings about it, it's
right,
easier closer to the actual event than instead of saying, oh, well, you have one a week later. And, oh, my God, they're dredging up things that happened 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? It's shit like that. Sometimes it's just easier to rip the Band-Aid off and get it done.
hmm,
Get that first one after something like that done so that way you
yeah,
can go,
I'm smiling, damn it. Yeah, I dare you, Nani. No, Leanne, I
Ooh,
wasn't gonna
wigs.
leave. Yeah,
Ooh,
her
wigs.
she stole a bunch of MB's wigs and she's threatening me with it. I'm just saying.
Ooh.
Just
But we'll have
saying.
to make sure we have to, get rid of the mothball smell first. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Is it me, or do you look at MB and think she just smells like a grandma who smells like mothballs?
I don't know. I haven't looked at her
I
that
mean,
much
just think about it.
lately.
Like, you know how you had that great auntie or that neighbor who always just smelled like mothballs,
Oh,
or even worse,
okay.
mothballs with cigarette smoke
Yeah.
and BO. She kind of looks like that, but mostly mothballs.
I'll take your word for it. I haven't really thought about it honestly. Ghost
But I mean,
musk.
just go back and think about it. Just think of a picture, and
Hmm.
then be like, yeah, she would smell like mothball, cigarette smoke, and BO. Okay, we can move on from it. No,
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
I'm in a mood today. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So
You can
here's
be in
my
a mood.
referral link. Here's
You
my
can be in a
referral
mood.
link. If
Who?
it works, hopefully it works. My referral link for Gerard.
Cool.
Yay, for me.
Cool.
Yay.
What did I walk into? Oh, well, Gary, this is a community that has been hauled
This is a big one.
together. We've been hauled together by uh, another woman. Actually, if we really want to be honest, another woman that was in a bunch of family drama and stuff like that. It was all over YouTube. And then there were, if you know who, obviously you do know who Nick Snyder is, the viewer's
Yep.
voice. Before he was the viewer, well, the big now drama channel viewer's voice, he was a small little channel that was doing hangouts. And that's how most of us
Talking
here
about
met.
Nina and Rated. It was
Right,
mostly about Nina and Rated. That's
right.
how this all started.
That's how
Thanks,
most of
Nina.
us met each other. And we kind of like, broke off into pieces of different people doing different hangouts. And there was different types of drama, because of course you can't be among women without drama. Aw, I'm not calling the embassy because ain't nobody knocked.
You
So
might didn't pick up on it. I actually was talking.
yeah,
On
so
the
there's a
computer.
lot of
Everybody's
background
talking.
here. If you ever, I wouldn't suggest it, but could you imagine if you ever had to ask Nick, like, how did all these women start this? And he'd like, oh my God, whatever, getting out of here.
Yeah. Get me the fuck out of here. I don't know these bitches.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know them. They don't know
Mm-hmm.
me. I'm too good
Right.
for that now. No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding. He would
yeah,
never say
something to
that.
that.
But
Well, we all
no,
we
he
all
wouldn't be
know
like that.
we all know Nick in one capacity or the other
He
before
can be
he.
his boozy bitch self, and we all
True.
love him for it.
What do you mean he could be? He is.
Yeah.
Hey, Jillian. Jillian is going to go, I don't know what's going on, but I'm here.
Yep. And I always tell Jillian, stay lost. It's okay, baby girl. I love you to death, but just stay lost.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Everybody has their own amount of drama, but here is a special kind, right? When you say, Tanya?
Well, it's a special kind, but it's kind. Oh my God. Yes, the troll ball. Get your balls in the picture. There's your balls in the picture. Yeah, I remember. Those
Unfortunately,
are my
Leanne.
trolls, Lori. Yeah, yeah.
Unfortunately, Leanne.
There's lots of
Unfortunately,
things like that. There's lots of things that have happened, but
we
honestly, and,
managed to
and
we
push
managed to
through it.
keep our humor of it all. I'll tell you that. Oh,
Yeah,
hey,
keep the humor.
Lori, what's up?
Hey, Lori.
Hey, Lori, what did you hear your name? He's
Oh shit!
great.
Yes.
Should we
Oh my
school
God.
Gary on Nick Snyder? I mean, he thinks he's great.
No, 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 no. Come on. He's moved past all that.
All right,
He's
I
actually a
know.
halfway decent.
Listen. I
I'm gonna
love
say
Nick.
three
I
quarters of a
do.
decent person. That other
Yeah.
quarter,
Go
the
on.
other quarter, it's a little iffy. but that's where his bitchiness comes from, and will stick up for his friends and stand up for the right thing. He uses it for good, no longer for
Right.
evil.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that. So we congratulate him on 100K and over.
Over 100K.
Over 100K, and it's all real subscribers,
Yep.
actual real subscribers. And I'm gonna leave it at that. So we support him too, as well. Exactly.
I love all the drama channels. I'm just gonna be like this. I love all the drama channels. T by Alley, T Spill, Nick, Justin Daly. Kind of over Peter Mon. Sanders Kennedy's. I'm over. He hasn't even posted.
I am low key
So,
I'm a low key big fan of Dustin. Like I watch him all the time. I just don't comment.
I love him. I love him so much. Oh, Beauty with Ashley. I adore her, and her daughter Aurora is so beautiful. Just saying.
Girl, so do I. So do I, Jillian. No matter what I do, I lose subscribers. It's all good in the hood. Oh, that's okay.
Sometimes when you lose subs, though, sometimes those are inactive accounts. Because I will lose 5 and then gain back 3 because they're pulling the accounts and checking to see if they're authentic.
Yeah.
If they're actually being used. So sometimes you'll lose 5 or 6 or even 10, and you'll gain back 6.
Yeah, it's
only at a net loss of 4.
I don't even pretend to know anymore, like how they go up, they go down, they go whatever.
Just post.
Look, it's interesting you use that word, Lori.
Oh my God, can we not?
That's it. Proof.
I'm done. Bye.
Tanya, if our phone rings, you know why.
Oh my God. I'm watching my phone.
Is that so? Gary, really? Dustin, I honestly, he's so emotional, and I can tell when he was going off on Rewired, when he made that response video, I was looking in his eyes. I'm like, he is going to he's holding the tears in. He's so angry. He's definitely a really.
What was it? What do they call him? RWS, Rewired Soul. I was watching Ella Loves Tea. She did a part 3. She did a part 3. I haven't watched it yet.
She did a part 3?
On his mother. Yes.
Oh, jeez.
On his mother. And let me tell you, the amount of shit that they're going to be in with YouTube, I doubt his little week-long hiatus is going to be a week long.
Yeah, well, if he's smart, and I don't think he is, because he looks like a chooch. I'm sorry. But he looks like a chooch that hasn't left his mother's basement, and he was looking for something to do one day because he got bored. But Gary, you're more than welcome to come up if you would like. I know you probably have a lot to say on the subject, better than we could, because you're more familiar with the whole thing.
That'd be cool.
Right? I know she's all professional now.
No,
don't give up it. Don't give up your secrets, girl.
I will. I'm not excited about it. It is actually a picture I took with my phone, and I used the app called Face App. And from the background, you can, just do some minor adjustments, and it's good to go. Boop, boop, shaboop.
Yeah, I just use my ring light.
I don't have one of them. So I gotta make do with what I got.
What do you mean, what's a chooch? And she spelled it wrong.
She may know. No. She also might know it, because chooch can be used as another word, and it can also be used as taint.
Okay, and not to be confused with tooch, as in Tucci. No, chooch.
Chooch, as in Cheech and Chong, but Chooch and Chong, not
right.
Whatever. But it could also be referred to as the taint. It taint the asshole, taint the balls. Get it?
Yes.
Muffin, you know what? That was just rude.
I love her.
That was just so rude, but it was funny. How do you not know? Oh, maybe it's a northern
Northern
thing.
thing.
It could be, because it could be a New England thing. Well, you're not New England technically,
Right.
but
I actually
languages and
wanted
slang terms are all over the place.
to read something. I know it's going to sound a little hokey, but I figured a little hokey for you guys tonight. Why not? Something to just give you some encouragement. This is something I got
Oh,
off of
yeah.
Quora. It's called is called "What's the Importance of Women in Everyone's Life?" Without women, the whole human species would cease to exist. It is a woman who bears a child in her womb and gives birth to a new life. She is a mother. She teaches her children how to eat, walk, talk, run, read, write, and succeed in various tests of life. She helps her children to fight against failure and retry and succeed. She cares for her children till her last breath. She is a sister you can always rely on, a sister with whom you can share your feelings, your secrets with an assurance that they would always remain hidden from others, a sister who is ready to fulfill your demands and spend her pocket money on you, a sister who would fight yours and her father to get you the bike of your choice, despite your parents' opposition to the idea of getting you a bike at relatively younger age. She is your friend in school or college, a friend who will do homework for you instead of completing her own and accept punishment in the class. She will keep you away from the girls who want to take undue advantage of you by being your friend. She teaches you in school and college as a teacher. She is a colleague. She is your neighbor who prepares breakfast for you and gives you packed lunch for office when your wife has gone to her parents' house for a day or two. She is your grandmother, your mother-in-law, your sister-in-law. She may be the doctor who cures your disease. She may be your financial advisor who helps your money grow by giving you sound financial advice. She may be a soldier who protects the borders of the country so that you can sleep peacefully in your home. She may be a policeman who is out on the road so that your daughter feels herself safe on the road and it's late at night. A woman is a blessing for men. This answer is dedicated to all the women of the world.
I like that.
So I thought maybe you guys would enjoy that.
I like that. That was
My,
very cool.
yeah. Yep. Shifty. Shifty eyes. Wow. And they're more interested in how you distort your picture.
No, they were listening too.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, AJ. Gary, if you want to put your email, if you feel comfortable with that, on the side chat, so I
Is
can.
he on Twitter?
I don't know if you're on Twitter, we can send you the link. However you want to do it.
Yeah, I can, because I can. Because I
Mm-hmm.
know some people are just, oh, thank you, Nani. Um,
Thanks, Jillian.
Sometimes emails are. I know I have two different emails, one for some things and one for other things, and you don't want to get bombarded.
Girlfriend, I'm way behind you, AJ. I don't know how you're walking. Way behind you. And she will too, Gary. I don't advise you to allow Muffin to have your email. You may get
She'll
some
spam
pictures.
you with memes.
Mm-hmm.
Muffin and AJ are the meme queens.
Yes,
Not
they are.
mean, MEAN, meme, MEME, queens.
Oh, wait. Nani is getting up there too. Don't forget about Nani.
Yeah, Nani's good.
Muffin.
Oh, God.
Stop it. Okay, he's on
Richard
Twitter.
Simmons is amazing. Bipolar
Mm-hmm.
Corner. Okay. Let me
Mm-hmm.
go to, let me trust my handy dandy app here. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, you have your moments. You're kind of vicious, Muffin, sometimes. You
You
shouldn't be like
can
that.
be.
Mm-hmm.
You go be. Back to the water. We all
Oh,
can be,
shit,
though.
you've been outed. I know,
Yep.
Nani. You should have done what we talked about, damn it.
Okay. Oh, one word.
Oh, no, Leanne, so she could sound like Chewbacca in my ear again. I didn't know what the hell that was. Oh, it sounds like. What the hell?
Hit the wrong button.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Here
So
is the link, my friend. There you go.
thank you, Tanya.
You're welcome. Oh my God, don't feed them after midnight.
They might
Just like
multiply.
that should be you know what? That should be a hangout rule. No hangouts after midnight because they only go ass to the walls after midnight.
Mm-hmm. Night, Jenny. Oops, I spelled
Hi,
her name wrong.
Jenny.
I'm sorry. I left the extra N out. That's Nani's fault. She took it. She took the N in your name, damn it. Good night.
The chat's really slow tonight. Like it's
Is
way
it?
more than it
It's
usually
flowing.
is.
It's
Yeah.
flowing. It's flowing for me, no problem. I don't have an issue.
Well, it could be me.
It's gotta be me.
I said that don't feed Nani after midnight. Oh, girl, yeah. Don't feed her nothing. Don't water her nothing. She can wait until the morning when the sun comes up. I'm the same way.
Cool.
So, oh, he's joined. Let's see if he has any issues getting in. Let's hope not, because he's in the background.
Nani's fine. She ain't doing nothing. She lying.
Why you always lying?
Stop your fucking lying. Oh no. And where is Celeste? Speaking of women, Mara. Hi, Mara.
Hey, Miss Mara.
Hello, Mara. I gotta give Mara one too, because in case Mara wants to bunk anybody over the head.
Oh, Mara doesn't like having wrenches.
Oh, okay. I'm taking it away. I'm taking it away. Don't yell
Yeah.
at me. Please don't yell at me.
Nope, Mara doesn't. Mara doesn't like having wrenches. She doesn't like that. She doesn't even like policing her own channel, much longer
Got
anybody
it.
else's.
Got it. Got it. No problem. Done. Taken away.
That's why she doesn't. That's why she doesn't even have a wrench on my channel.
That's all good. It's all good. Anyway, if Mara needs to do any kind of bopping, I think she'd do it just on her own.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's all
No,
right.
it doesn't. Oh, okay. Gary, if you can hear, just click ongoing call.
Yeah.
You should just be able to pop right in.
Yeah.
The
Sometimes we have
topic
to.
is.
Sometimes we have to explain that to Nani like 700 times before she gets here. She's like lost in the forest with that one.
Do I have to send out Paw Patrol again?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Hey, there he is.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello. Welcome.
Well, this will be the first time I've been in a chat in a long time.
Is that really? Wow, okay.
We are blessed, Miss
Yes.
Dawn. We are blessed.
I know that.
Thank you so much.
I'm very honored, and this all happened because I left a comment on his video, so I'm pretty honored that he's here.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be
you
honest with
left a
you.
comment and I actually ran and subbed and checked your channel out.
Yeah, you're probably like, why is this girl who's got a beauty channel bothering me?
I've actually been getting hit up by like everybody from everywhere, which I think is absolutely great.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing about this, is that it unites everyone, especially that a lot of people are afraid to talk about it, and they need the platform or the place to feel safe to talk about it. And I think when we have videos like yours and like Elle did, and the rest of them are doing, which I think is great, that the drama community is all kind of banding together about this, it makes me feel more comfortable about it. I know that.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
was actually glad to see. Sorry, I didn't mean to
Go
cut
ahead.
you off.
Nope, you're good. You're good.
I
Oh,
was just
anything else?
glad to see everybody banding together to actually come together for something like that, especially when it came to mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of smaller channels were getting crushed, and not even channels, but people who don't even have channels were getting crushed in this whole situation. And it was just so disheartening to see how somebody's supposed to be a mental health advocate can act like that towards other people who are suffering.
Yeah.
who maybe for the first time in her life is ever speaking up about things, and then they get crushed all by some arrogant person, to put it politely.
So let me ask you, Gary, how did you first come upon Chris? This is his real name. How did you first come upon him?
When I first opened this channel here, I'm a recovering addict for over 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of like looking up addictions and, looking for maybe other people that stuff, that was like in recovery. And then I was looking for people who might have bipolar channels, just in a different mental health fields. And that's pretty much how I ran across him. So
Mm-hmm.
I was watching his first videos, which if you actually go all the way back to his first videos,
Mm-hmm.
it's a totally different person.
Right.
And once I don't know what the hell happened from there. Excuse my language, but
Oh, it's okay.
it all went. I don't know what happened. So I would be like, "Hey, this is a good video." Well, then I started seeing the drama, and I was like, "Hold on." And then I was watching where people were asking him to talk about things, and he was overlooking them because he saw when he talked about drama and big channels, it gained subs. Then I watched live streams in the background. Some people didn't always know I was there, and I
Mm-hmm.
would watch how he would talk about, I'm going to do drama and keep talking about it because I'm going to ride it until the wheels fall off, because I'm not going to be able to, that's the only way I can gain subscribers. So I was like, well, then I'm going to watch this. And then that's what really it all turned out to be, was a book here, a book there, money here, money there,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, talking down to people with mental health, then joking that I can do whatever I want. Then, his fans and even his girlfriend and everybody was attacking everybody. And I was like, this is just wrong. So I started just calling him out.
Mm-hmm. Which I think is probably one of the bravest things to do, especially with people that are, it starts out like it's a good concept. It's a good idea. You think that they're doing it to be, genuine. Like, oh yeah, I've had the experience too. Because isn't he recovering something? Didn't he have an addiction too?
Yes, allegedly. He said he was
Yeah.
addicted.
But he didn't
Yes.
finish. But he didn't finish his program. Am I correct in saying that?
Well, I actually have a video up
Mm-hmm.
to where he admits, and it'll show you in the video, and this is all from actual receipts
Mm-hmm.
that I found. In one video, in his new podcast, that podcast he had,
Mm-hmm.
he
Wait, I
states
thought
that
he was taking a break.
No.
well,
It's the one before he did the video, right? Are you talking about that one?
Okay.
yeah, before that
Okay.
one.
Okay.
Yeah, before the break. Like the very
Okay.
last one that blew up, and I grabbed clips and I just
Mm-hmm.
let it out. He stated he never even went to a rehab.
Oh, wow.
And it's on, I got the video clip. It's in one of my videos on my channel. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's in the last one, maybe. And not only that, in another video, he claims to where he went to uh, like a detox center. And then there is another one where he written it himself on a website that I have the link in the video as well, to where he says he was in a sober living home. So which is it?
Which is it? Yeah.
Uh. Now, see, I didn't go to rehab. I detoxed from mine in my bedroom when I was close to 20 years old, and then I worked NA for quite a few years. Um, so that was my quote unquote rehab, mainly because I knew I couldn't afford it, and I knew for sure my parents couldn't afford it. So I was kind of left to my own devices. But that guy is starting. I mean, he's already pissed me off, but I mean, now he's this scope that keeps on narrowing in on him and his mother. Before it was just, you're trying to make a quick buck. And, people are always about selling this snake oil shit on Instagram or on Twitter or Facebook or whatever. You're going to lose 10 pounds in 2 days, that kind of thing, where it's like, you kind of just, because it's oversaturated with people selling gimmicks and get rich schemes and,
Yeah.
get better. You almost become desensitized to it. So I was just like, in the beginning when I first heard about it, I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever, and just kept it pushing until I started delving more and more and more. I've been knee deep in research. knee deep in research. And I haven't watched your channel yet. Yours was like literally next on my list. I've been keeping an eye on El Loves Tea, Tea by Allie, Nick, Dustin, and then also going to his channel and watching what I can stomach, because there's just something about that guy that just rubs me the wrong way, because I've never tried to work as a sober person. I've never tried to work a program or suggest someone to work a program, whether they're one or two, newly sober, strictly online. And that's what a lot of these people are trying to do. They're trying to do the quote unquote better help route of working a sobriety program, whether it be NA or, any of these other world renowned methods of staying clean and working a program. The basis still comes down to, the 12 steps. So I can only stomach him in small doses, and that's about it. So I can't delve too deep into him, otherwise I'll throw up. But
Well,
continue.
I can understand that because I actually quit myself. I don't know if you want to know or not, but my background was I started the first time I snorted a pill was actually Ritalin, and I was like 13 or 14.
Mm-hmm.
And I started smoking weed and drinking. Then I went through a lot of stuff from 13 to 17, and I done that then. And then I started snorting coke, smoking crack, drinking, popping 25 pain pills a day. And I actually slacked off and quit in 6 months on my own because I couldn't afford going anywhere either. And that's basically how I got clean. And I don't have a problem how anyone gets clean or achieves that goal of getting clean or getting sober. But then when in a live stream, and him and his mom was in, turned around and pretty much told me that because I am prescribed certain medications, well, I'll talk about them. I do it on my channel.
Mm-hmm.
Lithium, which is not a narcotic, but because I'm prescribed Xanax, that I'm not clean and sober.
You are clean and sober because that's not your drug of choice.
That's correct, and I don't abuse it. I have to take it every day, and I know there's a lot of people that are against that type of stuff, but that's just the cards I've been dealt with, and it's
Right.
everybody's not the same, and a lot of people are like, well, there's other meds that are non-narco. I'm like, I'm 38 years old.
Well, yeah, because we're the same age, and we can't. I'm going to be honest with you. Either our bodies can tolerate the benzos at this point, or they can't. My body, I can't take benzos. My thing was uppers, coke, you name it, speed. Coke was my main drug of choice. Loved it.
I loved it, actually.
My life. Loved it, but again, the need and the want to use never goes away. That's why I agreed with Trisha Paytas that said, once an addict, always an addict. There's an addict in recovery, and there's an active addict. Where do you fall? There's nothing in between.
Actions to help people, quote unquote, from people with addictive personality becomes another way of replacing the drug, so to speak. They have this need to, all of a sudden, like, fix the world because suddenly I am, and I can offer this, and I can fix other people. And I honestly,
euphoric part of it.
Yeah, I honestly don't think there's a thing fixed about him. In fact, I think he needs to have more than a week hiatus. I think he needs to be a 90-day hiatus, if you get my drift. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he uploaded a video just about 2 days ago, right?
Oh, God.
No, he did not.
Yes, he did too, but it wasn't him. His editor pops in and says, I did this, and this was already planned. Well, no, it wasn't, because right before the video, Chris in the video states that how his editor was uploaded it. I mean, it's like that just shows like he can't even stay away long enough. He wants that money.
Right. It's a cash cow. It's a constant, yeah.
That's why there was 3 to 4 different apologies. They're all 2 minutes apiece.
That's why Patty Page called him the serial uploader. If you didn't watch her video, I'm telling you, watch it. It's long. It's over an hour.
Oh, I watched the whole thing.
Anybody who hasn't watched it, who wants an overview as to everything that's happened, watch Petty Page's video. Actually, let me go see if I can find it. Hold on.
Yeah,
Go ahead. I'm
definitely
sorry, I didn't mean
link
to
that.
interrupt. And she's
There's
been sick as hell, too, with her pregnancy. And the fact that she took probably hours upon hours of filming that, plus how many hours of editing for an hour-long video.
oh my gosh.
Plus the post, you know, editing the cards and all that. She had to have spent weeks on it because she was sick really bad, and so wasn't her husband.
Okay, question, Gary.
Mhm.
When was the first time that there was an interaction between yourself and Chris? Like, when did it happen that it was like your first time to, like, quote unquote, call him out, that he actually responded to you personally?
I actually posted a video on that last night.
Okay.
I ran down the whole thing, and I think
Mm-hmm.
it went back all the way to September of last year.
Oh, God. Okay.
Is when that's when I was actually trying to make amends. Was in September, I think the 6th. It's in my video. I think it was September the
That's my
6th.
birthday. That's my birthday, September 6th. It's a great day.
Mine's September the 8th. So,
Oh, wow.
You're in between
yeah,
me and my best friend. My best friend, September 10th. Virgo's
what?
baby. What's
That's it.
up? What's up?
And so I think I reached out to him to try to patch things up September the 6th.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me to send him an email, blasey blasey, in the comments that I showed in the video. And I got one March the 3rd when he was apologizing of this year. That's when he responded.
Mm-hmm.
So it probably went back to at least August of last year when we first started.
From that last podcast where he was on with that, I don't know what the other gentleman's name that he was talking to. He had, the other guy was saying to him, have you seen your videos? And he said that he had not. So I was wondering how he was familiar with the fact of, you know, just like what you were saying and like how you felt about
Oh,
what he was doing.
I have a feeling that he didn't let out as much as he says. There's
Mm-hmm.
no way someone like that is not going to watch that video.
Oh,
Now,
absolutely.
that's
Yeah,
speculation,
they're
of
too
course.
egotistical. They're too egotistical not to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Too
that's my
egotistical not
opinion.
to. Your
Because
opinion, your conspiracy allegedly?
if you go look at that video when he says that,
Mm-hmm.
he also turns right around and says, Gary has this problem with always saying, well, how does he know that if he didn't watch my videos?
Right.
So I was
Right.
like,
We know somebody like that, Gary, by the way. We have somebody like that here in this community, so we're familiar.
Yep.
They tell you that they don't give it any time or they don't give it any mind. Meantime, they will find little bullet points in what you only know could have been if they did watch, if they were, sitting there lurking. They just don't want to tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like there's really no way. I mean, how else? I think it might have got to a point to where maybe his girlfriend, because he mentioned that she tried, to get him not to watch him, and would mediate. So maybe she watched him and told him, or they,
Mm-hmm.
I really don't know. The only
Well, for
reason he never mentioned my name in his channel before was because I personally, my opinion, speculation, I just don't think he wanted people to come to my channel and watch the actual content because it was
Oh yeah.
words out of his mouth and videos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he doesn't want to give you the clout. That's definite. I mean, I'm surprised that when he was speaking about the drama channels, that he kept referring back to their names. That was
mm-hmm.
kind of interesting to me.
I can tweet this out on your stream and see if anybody else comes in here.
Hey, no problem. No problem.
I mean, that's the thing. The veil is finally being lifted off. The stigma is finally being lifted off of mental health disorders. Stop hiding. It's okay.
Yeah,
90% of 90% of the United States, it has been proven, is dealing with some form of depression or an anxiety disorder. It's just because of the amount of stressors and the amount of information that has been flooding us for years. It's
correct.
happening. So when he goes and manipulates it, takes something that is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful therapeutic tool in the right environment, coming from AA, coming from NA, coming from an actual program, a 90-day treatment facility, whether it's, intensive outpatient or inpatient, it doesn't matter. Mindfulness is something that has always been taught. That's one of the foundations for everything else.
It's like it is. It's like the layman's, the first skill that if you go to any kind of therapy, any kind of therapist, it doesn't even depend on what kind of depression you have. There's always that first thing of, do you know what mindfulness is? And I have spent many times with many therapists on that whole thing. So
Yeah.
to even go out there and say, okay, I'm going to put this out there, because he was teaching a course apparently from what I derived from all this prior to having a YouTube channel. Then when nobody was really adhering to that course, he decided to not only raise the price, but then he decided to have a YouTube channel. Oh yeah, let me expose myself, and how many and how many different things I'm linked to, and yada yada yada. And I can't take him for more than 30 seconds just by the way he talks. I'm like, he is the most manipulative person I've ever seen.
Arrogant is what comes to mind. So when he went and marketed this, and this is, correct me if I'm wrong, but he went and marketed this whole thing as, you know what, this is the way to get yourself sober. This is the way to, eternal happiness. He's that guy that gets out of even a 120-day program, or girl, doesn't matter. He's that person that comes out and wants to save everyone and condemn everyone as well.
Yep.
He's the one that sits there and says, well, if you don't do it my way, then you're going to fail. That's the man. That's the kind of shit I can't get behind. My friend Jillian in here, she just graduated. She's been, doing her thing. She works in the field. Anytime I ever have a question about anything that I find in a DSM-5, anything like that, because there are certain mental health disorders that fascinate me. I mean, beyond fascinating. Anyway, but just this urgent need coming from him to make money from people seeking help because maybe they can't afford it, or they're so scared that they want to remain anonymous.
And I will use this. He and this is not, he preyed on that topic. If you understand how I'm putting that word in the context, he preyed on vulnerability of BPD.
Yep.
They are not dumb. His mom knows. BPD is one of the most diagnosed things in this world, and it's mostly aimed at women. And I feel that they manipulated them, and that's my opinion. And that is what irked me. And that is why I just started speaking out. Because it's like, we have enough. Look, and I'm probably going to get my temper flared up here a little bit, so I'll apologize in advance.
We love that.
But
we love that. We love passion like that. So let it go.
Here's what gets me. I have been through the ringer and back like other people have. I'm not downplaying an addiction, but and I know that he said he had an anxiety disorder, and I'm not downplaying anybody that can go through drugs and alcohol and then get clean and sober. Props to them. I think it's absolutely awesome. But if you want to try to start taking that crap, can you cuss on here?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. If you want to try to start taking that shit and try to act like, well, I know about BPD and I know about bipolar and I can teach you this, you can shove that straight up your crap, because that cannot compare to what some people go through. Now, I'm not trying to downplay I'm saying they have their own fields. That's why when somebody is a drug and alcohol abuse counselor, they train in that field. When somebody has, I can't even find a good therapist that is just in PTSD. So how the hell, if I can't find one who's went to school for it, how is he just because he reads a book? I'm going to tell you my opinion of why he reads the book. He
Mm-hmm.
reads those book called Gaslighting so he can use those techniques to gaslight his audience. He reads that book, Psychology, so he can use those techniques to actually use reverse psychology. Like I've said several times in my videos, I may have a mental health issue and I may be on disability, but that don't make me
Mm-hmm.
stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be damned if he's going to take advantage of me. And with everything I had in me, I was trying to stop that from happening to other people because I seen what was happening.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't think people realize that when you do have, and I hate using this as like saying like it's a disability or it's a disorder, because for me, I was diagnosed at 23. I was misdiagnosed as a borderline personality when I was very,
Hmm.
very young. Turned out that was incorrect, because during that time it was a completely different way I was. My behavior was different, my situations were different, and and then they tried to figure it out accordingly, but it was the wrong thing. The thing is that for me, I think that we're a lot more acute to manipulation than people understand. That we have our wits about us. Just because we quote unquote seem broken doesn't mean that the machinery is completely gone. It just means that there's a chemical that's not balancing out the rest of us to cope properly. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right. That's right.
So I honestly think that people need to get hip to that. That our other senses are very highly acute, because that's where our emotions kick in. That's why we quote unquote seem to be manic, or uncontrollable, or over emotional. That's a to me, that's more of a over extending of what we are already. You know what I'm saying? It's just a matter of balancing that. So when people try to manipulate, when they try to soft soak you, or they try to patronize you, and they try to talk you into this, that, and the other thing, or they're saying like, "Oh, I can help you because look at me, look at me."
Hmm.
You must think that we've got, rose-colored glasses and wools over our eyes. We're not stupid. I mean, we're manipulated by the drug companies, we're manipulated by therapists, we're manipulated by psychiatrists, because these people have to make a living. They're only doling out what they think can work. You know,
That's it.
I was told a long time ago, I was in a clinic and I went to a therapist, and I was told it takes 10 years to properly diagnose somebody. So with that means that you become the guinea pig for whatever drug is on the market. And back then it was all about Paxil and Prozac.
Oh my God, I was on
Yep.
them both.
Yeah, it
And
was all up.
Zoloft.
Right, and Zoloft. Right, me too. I was on. That was like my last. In fact, that was my last run in any kind of medication. That was in 2007, right after I had my daughter. I went to postpartum, and I was prescribed that, and it didn't work for me, and the rest is history. So nowadays, I think that the drug companies and what have you are a little less into just doling out the same things. I think now there's more options. But as a society, as people already dealing with this, we're much more apprehensive, because we don't know what these things can do. We don't understand, the implications, and then you have the side effects, and you have, other things. Like if you have other health issues, is that going to, interact with these things? So it's very, very, uh, at some point, it's kind of almost like you feel you're backed up in a corner.
Oh
So
yeah.
this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying about people that come out with these like, oh, get quick, take the snake
Well,
oil, or take
yeah.
this kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's the other thing too, is just from what I gathered and what I've gotten straight out of his mouth, his mother's mouth. This is geared towards newly in recovery, newly diagnosed people. And I'm sure Gary can attest to this. When you're newly in recovery, you are working triple, quadruple time on maintaining your sobriety. So you
Oh
are
my
willing
God.
to
That's the
listen
hardest time.
to anybody who's willing to sit there and say, look, if you do it this way, or if you take this, or if you do this in conjunction with this will be easier for you. Taking away that core value that you are taught from day one in any type of program is that the want to use never goes away. They're taking that core value and putting something else in place of, if you take a pill, if you take this oil, if you do this, if you do that. And, some people it works for, good for you. But they are directly targeting anyone who is newly diagnosed and newly in recovery. And that is what I have a problem with.
Yeah.
I think they were also targeting people who were just emotionally, uh, as you mentioned, some people I noticed were really young, 18, 19, 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I say this is because, as you say, diagnosis changes. Like, I'm going through a psychological evaluation, just got it done. I'm waiting. They may change what I've been diagnosed with for 23 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's a possibility. So I'm actually doing
Because
updates on
the
that.
umbrellas, right, because the umbrellas changed now. The umbrellas have changed from the DSM-4 to the DSM-5.
Yep.
So anybody who is diagnosed in what I call the mid stages of DSM-4 should be, and if you're listening, anyone who is diagnosed under DSM-4 diagnostic tool really should ask for another psych eval, because chances are your umbrella changed, which means the medicines could be different, which could be your therapeutic tools and therapies could be different.
And
It
there's
doesn't
a
hurt.
lot that I agree with that because, I was 15 and I'm 38 now. So, uh, the lady acted like I may not have a certain thing, and I'm just going to wait and see what happens before I, publicly announce anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it may be something else. I don't know. I also told them things I never told no one before because I was afraid that they would, lock me up. I'll be honest. I was afraid they'd put me in an inpatient hospital. And I believe that that's what they were, that's kind of some of the people that emotionally unstable, and I don't mean that in any wrong way because I still
Mm-hmm.
get that way myself, and I
Mm-hmm.
believe that they were preying on that. And I'm going to tell you now, if there is any other creator out there that does the same thing that he tried to do, don't think for 1 second that I won't be calling your ass out on my channel too.
Ditto.
Same.
Ditto.
Now
Ditto.
you're talking to two booty gurus right here, and I'm just fine. I don't even profess to be even close to a beauty guru,
No,
but
no,
I
that's
do kind of do a little bit of everything like Dawn does. Dawn does more beauty related stuff. Lately, I've been more so mental health oriented and just general living type things oriented. And this guy really, truly done pissed off the wrong two broads. I'm going to tell you that out of the gate. Not from the drama aspect from it, but from people who have been living in the psychiatric world. Now, I'm newly diagnosed bipolar, but I'm going to tell you, I've been bipolar since I was 22 years old. That's why most addicts are diagnosed bipolar or borderline, because our serotonin and our dopamine levels aren't right.
Yep.
So we try to correct it ourselves. I knew I was fucked up from 19, but I managed my mood swings myself. It wasn't until just a month ago that I locked myself up for 3 days because my
Oh,
depression
okay.
was that bad. So, but I've known, I just didn't want to be handicapped by a label because I worked on it for so long, along with my recovery, that I didn't want yet another label handicapping me.
See,
Because
that's the thing.
that addict label really sticks, and you have to show people, look, I've been clean for 17 plus years, almost 20 years, whatever. I'm not going to go out and steal your car. I never stole anything to support my habit, and you don't even want to know what I did to support my habit. But
I never
that's
stole
it.
anything to support my habit, but I did steal to eat. I won't even lie about that. There was a
Well,
couple of times that a carrot cake came up missing somewhere, but
and for
I mean,
those on the side chat, I want to reinstate that some people are saying that it took so many years. I was told by a psychologist that it does. It does. It takes a lot of years to properly get you on the right medication for whatever it is you have, and that's the thing.
mm-hmm.
And it's just like they
You're a
try to.
guinea pig.
Yeah, they try to feed kids that have ADD with Ritalin, and they found out that exactly was doing the opposite of what it should have been doing. That's the
that was
unfortunate thing.
me. When I was
Yeah.
8, that was the first thing that they diagnosed me with, and they stuck me on 90 milligrams of Ritalin.
Yep.
So,
Oh,
and then once I actually went into inpatient for trying to commit suicide, I realized, and that's actually when I realized how to snort a pill, was when I was in inpatient. And instead of it making me calm, it gave me speed buzz, and that's how I
Right.
got. That's where I found that out. So I went from there, but I guess I'm laying off the Chris thing because I could really blast about that. I'm trying to hold
Mm-hmm.
down. I'm trying. I'm trying to go back to my original content, but what got me to is because there is somebody else out there, and I haven't said nothing about it really
Mm-hmm.
too much publicly. I haven't called their name out because I'd have to do some more research or anything like that before I do.
hmm
If I do,
hmm
I don't know. But when I saw him collaborate with somebody and they were talking about foods that you should eat and that they could help you with this and it could help you with that and it can help relieve your anxiety symptoms. Do you know that there was people there talking about this one person said that they were going to quit taking Valiums, which is a benzo, which you can get literally sick off of from
You
not
can go
taking
through
it,
withdrawals.
to
Yep.
go on this stupid diet. And
Oh God.
what did Chris do? He hearted it. And then the other guy goes, "Yeah, man, let food be your medicine." That
Oh
pissed
my
me
God.
off.
God, my God.
Some
If
people,
somebody
again, some
done me
people,
that
sure,
way,
but oh,
yeah, I
ooh,
mean, if somebody done me that way and I say quit my medicine, I would end up in a psychiatric ward. I would.
same, same.
And this, I'm going to tell you right now, and I was going to discuss this earlier. I might as well just do it. A lot of this is hitting home, Gary, as you're talking, because currently, as we're speaking, I have a boyfriend who's diagnosed with bipolar, and I'm not going to go into the whole history of what the situation is now, but he presently now has moved away because he did it on an impulse of almost a year now. And in the first few months, because his whole thing was supposedly, I'm going out there to get better, which I'm going to tell you hasn't really worked out for him much. And this is what I was saying about I need help with this.
Yeah.
Um, so the first month of talking to him, I was given this kind of like, when I would ask him about, are you going to go seek therapy? You're going to do, oh, yeah, I am, but I'm not going to take medication because I don't like what it does for my body. So, and I'm on a gluten-free diet and I take minerals, and I did the hand slap to my face. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I'm not going to. Who's feeding you this bullshit? Okay.
hmm
This is what worries me because, and Tanya knows this too because she's had a few conversations with him. I don't know if it's just a thing where, because he also suffers with a form of ADD as well. I think it's not dyslexia, it's the other thing where they kind of see things backwards. What is it called?
Dysgraphia.
Right, dysgraphia. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but there's a lot of gullibility in his thought process. So the things that he gets
It's almost
told, which,
childlike. I'm going to be honest.
yeah,
It's almost childlike.
which I'm afraid of because I know his manic episodes. And I also have seen them and been privy to them. And I can tell you the things that I've witnessed that would probably make your head spin.
Is he
But
bipolar 1 or 2?
I don't
Sounds
know.
like 1 if he's.
I'm going to
Yeah.
tell you,
I mean, I
just
don't
from
know.
talking to
I
him,
don't
I
know
think
him.
his bipolar one. His, they're not coming in cycles. They stay consistent. He'll stay manic for a set period of time, and then he'll crash to depressed. There's no cycling through it, like with BP2.
Okay. Well, I
The,
know that with the
His
2, you never really fully reach manic, just hypomanic.
correct,
right.
correct. You're
Um, it,
hypomanic and you're hypodepressive. Depressive.
Now, a
It
lot of
cycles.
people, yeah, it does, and then there's rapid cycling you can add on it and things like
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
And the thing that most people with bipolar
Mm-hmm.
don't want to take medication because
Right.
Nope.
we want that hypomanic episode all the time. We want it all the
Not
time.
me. Not me.
Most
My
people,
man.
like not the manic part, but the hypomanic, not
Mhm.
full blown, but to where
Yeah.
you feel like you can get up and you can get things done and you can get things accomplished and you don't want to sleep because you just want to keep doing things and you can get all this stuff done. I used to set up when I first started my channel before they switched me from Klonopin to Xanax, and I would literally do 6 videos in one night.
Mhm.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like I would
I
record six
never,
videos in one night.
I, I've never gotten that hypomania to that extent. It's either I go extremely manic, which is aggressive. I come up very aggressive and angry, and it's not fun. Most of the people here have seen that. And then I crash to depressive where it is bad. I haven't gotten a hypomania in, let's say, 10 plus years. It's either been one or
Wow.
the other. And then with the birth of my son, it got exponentially worse, and he'll be 6 in April. So, like I said, I've been dealing with it. See, they were only treating the depression. They weren't watching me go manic because they told me that's your anxiety that's coming out. It's agitated and angry. So that's what I thought until these last few months, and I'm like, no, this is what this is. Unfucking fortunately, because it's like, great, yet another label. So and that's the thing about the labels.
Well,
I'm
that was
dealing
like
with
what
my,
I mentioned. Yeah, like in my video, there's one. The reason I say that, I pretty much put my whole life up there for anybody to see whatever.
Mhm.
I do that because I've had some bad comments of people going, "Why would you even do this? Why would you put this up?" Well, why wouldn't I? There's so
Mhm.
many people out there that feel alone because of labels, because you're stigmatized. Like they mentioned
mm-hmm,
that I may have schizoaffective disorder. Well, if I do, I that's why I'm getting testing done because maybe this whole bipolar thing all along, maybe I have schizoaffective bipolar type. I don't know at the moment, but that's one thing that they're thinking. So that's why they're retesting me. And what I don't understand is when people go from doctor to doctor over 10 years time, why don't they do another evaluation? Why don't they recheck
mm.
those? They don't usually, hardly ever.
They are actually um, under their board certifications. Now it does vary state by state. But most board verifications, if there is a new release, a new edition of the diagnostic tool, the DSM-5, now formerly DSM-4, they are supposed to retest all of their patients, all psychiatrists. It's in their board because the umbrella's changed and certain symptoms that were in bipolar 2 are now bipolar 1, and some of the symptoms from bipolar 1 are into schizoaffective disorder or borderline personality.
Yeah, and see where they're talking about
They
bringing
branch.
CPTSD. If they bring in CPTSD, then they're talking about making PTSD, CPTSD, and BPD all
Right.
in like the same category. So that's why CPTSD hasn't actually made it in there yet because they're trying to figure out how to do it with these other, with PTSD and BPD and how it would follow with that. They've even thought about
Mm-hmm.
replacing BPD with CPTSD, but didn't because not everybody has had a traumatic event. So they're trying to figure out like if it's like a bipolar 1, bipolar 2, and then and that's how it's cyclothymia, and that's how they're thinking of lumping it. Now I don't know what they'll end up doing with it, but I actually have research and been researching their studies and waiting if they're ever even going to do a new DSM, to actually see what they're going to do. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, DSM-5 came out what, 2013?
Jillian, if you're still here, please correct me. I want to say 2015.
Yeah,
So
so
if they're not current now, anybody when I say currently diagnosed, anywhere from what I would say 2017, you should be reevaluated every 5 years because your symptoms can change as you age because the dopamine serotonin levels are constantly going to change as you age.
that's
Same
right.
thing
See,
with melatonin and
I
things
can
of
agree
that
with
nature.
that.
Your levels you should be tested every 5 years because
Mine
your
gotten
body
worse.
chemistry changes every 7. So why wouldn't they reevaluate you every 5?
Or at least 10. I mean, it's been going on 23 years since I've had an evaluation.
Oh my God. That's a long time. That's a lifetime.
I mean, I'm 38. I was 15, and I haven't had one since. And the thing is your brain don't even fully develop till you're in your 20s. So
That's why if you look at you can go to Barnes and Noble and read a copy. I would never suggest a layperson buy a copy because they're like $200 and some odd dollars. But if you go and look, the umbrella disorder, now they're calling them mood affective disorders or mood disorders and whatever, where it falls under bipolar 1, bipolar 2, borderline personality. The only ones that have their own diagnoses are schizophrenia, DID, and there's another one.
yeah, so I mean, like, to be honest, like when I get these results back, which should be within, I'm hoping by the end of this month, they may tell me I don't have something that I thought I've had or that I've been diagnosed with this whole time, and then change it to something else. Now, I didn't openly ever really admit to them until now, that sometimes I see things. And, of course, that plays a difference. But I also thought it was normal. And at the same time, I know labels that go with it. 10 years.
How long have you been on
Well,
lithium?
actually, 12 years.
I'm going to tell you that can lead to schizoaffective disorder for prolonged use of lithium. Lithium is supposed to be used as an emergency type situation and only used sparingly. You're not supposed to be maintaining lithium for any amount of time.
Yeah,
because
see,
it deposits into your brain.
I always have
like I
them
said, even
to keep
before
it low,
this,
too.
Right. See, I'm petrified of lithium.
Yeah, my
Petrified of
dose is
lithium.
low because of that.
I'm not petrified of people that use lithium. I'm
Well, I
petrified
hope
of
not.
because I've seen no. I've seen people who should not be on lithium basically turn into zombies, and that scares me. So I told them when I went and got myself locked up, and they were talking about putting me on lithium, and I told them that they even came anywhere near me with any type of lithium, I was walking the fuck right back on out. I knew I didn't need lithium. And that's the thing a lot of people have to understand is these doctors work for you. You don't work for them. So if you say to your doctor or psychiatrist after 6 years and things aren't working just right and they think everything's fine because they tested your blood, no. You say, I want a reevaluation. And if you're not willing to give that to me, I'll go to someone else. They work for you, not the other way around.
Yeah,
That's any
see,
doctor.
if they give me the lithium that they want to get me up to their therapeutic dose that I believe is a 1.2, mine's only between 0.3 and a 0.6 because it fluctuates. And what they need to tell people when they do prescribe lithium is you need to watch your citrus fruit. You need to not you can't have citrus. You need to watch salt intake. Like, don't switch your salt intake. Like, try to keep it at a regular balance. Also, you need to drink plenty of water because you can get dehydrated. Also, watch out for the weight gain. They don't tell you none of that. It's, here's this medicine. We're going to do blood work here in about 5 days. And what I've noticed
with my Seroquel. They
yeah,
never told me any of that.
they don't tell anybody anything. And then most people are coming to my channel like, hey, I'm doing this, this, and this. I'm like, you need to call your doctor. You need to call your pharmacist. You need to let them know what's going on. Because, like, you can get yellow jaundice, you can be put on kidney dialysis because of it, and it can even be life-threatening.
Especially if it's too high of a dose. But see,
Yeah.
I'm petrified of a lot of medicine, only because I don't trust Big Pharma, because I know Big Pharma has cures for diseases that it makes them more money to fund treatments versus putting out a cure like cancer. So I don't trust Big Pharma as it stands anyway. So when I get put on a new medication, I research the hell out of it. I ran out of my meds, and because I didn't have money, I don't have insurance right now. Because I ran out of money, I was without, Dawn can attest to this, I was without my Seroquel for 3 days. And I had a rip-roaring migraine for 3 days. And I tried everything. I mean, right down to Excedrin migraine, almost having going to the emergency room because it was that bad. And I was able to get a couple of minutes where looking at a screen didn't hurt me. And I did a bit of research, and if you drastically stop, well, this is with any medicine, but it was me not paying attention, so it was partially my fault. You stop that type of a medication cold turkey, the blood vessels in your brain constrict, and that causes a migraine. And nothing you can do until you start reintroducing that, or you can let it your body work through it, which takes 3 to 5 days for most detox, for any detox, for it to get
Oh
out of
yeah,
your
I won't lie.
system.
Like I'm scared if they want to change my meds, I'm scared to death to try to go off lithium. They'll have to put me in an inpatient somewhere. I'll just be honest. I'll have to be
I
an
don't think they would.
inpatient
I don't.
because they'd have to keep an eye on me that I don't do anything to hurt myself.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, I don't think they would be so irresponsible to do that. But I've seen, shitty freaking people do shitty things.
well, I know that they're
Doctors
wanting
or
to put me on
nurses.
antipsychotics. They're wanting to add that to what I'm on, and I'm like, look, you, I'm I'm petrified of trying new medicines because I have been a guinea pig, as you all mentioned earlier, to
Mhm.
where I was put on so many different medicines. I have sat on the floor and talked to myself and seen myself and everything else, and that was from the medicine. And then they wonder why I'm petrified to try something new. It took them 2 years to even for me to even let them switch me from Klonopin over to Valium that I had horrible experience with, then over to Xanax.
See,
I
I was on
hated it.
Xanax for a long time. I was taking before that temazepam for many years, um, for conditional anxiety. Like if I had an anxiety attack,
So you were on
I would take
Klonopin.
it. No, I will not take Klonopin, because if I take Klonopin,
You said
like lithium, it
clonazepam,
kind of,
right?
no, temazepam.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. No, they gave me Klonopin for an extreme panic attack back when I lived in Massachusetts, and I still could not believe I was working at Home Depot, and I had to take it because I had to take it as prescribed until I got in to see my doctor, and I could barely move. So I was like, okay, well, you know what? I am going to break it in half and only take half. Still the same thing. Everybody's body reacts different to different types of benzos. And after those, and me not being on benzos for over 10 years, I don't want to be back on a benzo,
I'll tell
because
you when
those falls and that, I'm
they
good.
put me
I
on
physically
Valiums
feel
and
fine.
I slept for 16 hours. I couldn't hold my arm up. My shoulders hurt. I could barely get off the couch. And I called them, and I'd done this for like 2 weeks because I was waiting to see. And my fiance was like, well, you need to call and let them know. So I did. And look, there's a big stigma to say. I'm probably going to go off on a rant here for a second, so just excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big stigma around benzos, and I get that people abuse them, and I get that people abuse pain pills as well. But there are some people that desperately really need that medication just to make it through a day. They're not abusing it. They're not getting high on it.
Nope.
And when I see people that like even stigmatize, like if you tell most people like lithium, that's not even a narcotic at all, that you're on, if you just mention I have to take my lithium and somebody overhears that, they think you're a Fruit Loop. So it's not only is mental health stigmatizing, medicines that can be prescribed to people with mental health issues is stigmatized. And then when you got people that come up on YouTube acting like they do, oh, just go meditate, just go do yoga, just go eat lettuce, and I'm not saying that meditation and yoga cannot help people, because it can. But I think it may help some who may not have as much problems as others, if that makes sense. If somebody's suffering from anxiety and somebody's being anxious, those are two different things. So meditation may help someone who is anxious all the time, but it may not help somebody who actually has an anxiety disorder. And
Right.
I think a lot of people don't look at it that way. They think it's all lumped into one whole thing and put together, and it helped me, so it should help you. And that's that. If that was the case, then everybody would be on one damn pill.
Yeah,
Right.
I have always said that depression, no matter what it is, it's a very individualized thing. I mean, I do believe that you need to combine not just your medication and your talk therapy, but I do believe that everything has an effect on it. You know, it's a series of balances. I mean, you're not going to feel better if you can eat like crap. You're not going to feel better if you're not getting proper sleep. You're not going to feel better if you're not, drinking enough water. All those things
Right.
do have an important, place there. But again, as far as the chemicals, the maintaining that's what's unfortunately the trickery.
Mhm.
And for me, very, very young, because I started, God, geez, I knew I was depressed when I was 11 years old. The first time I ever tried to do anything, I was 11 years old. I took an overdose of children's aspirin. Now, that might not seem like a big thing to people, but for an 11-year-old, it is,
It is.
because
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I didn't understand what the hell was going on. And I knew it from then. And as I grown into a teenager, and my 20s was probably my worst time. That's when I was diagnosed with borderline. Um, yeah, I was on a series of different things. I can't even remember all of the cocktails that I've been on. And then, when you go in for inpatient, they put you on a series of different things again.
Yeah.
So as I got into my 30s, I was in that kind of like rebel without a cause, like, fuck therapy. I'm not going back. I'm not going on meds for nobody. And I didn't. And, I struggled through. There was a period of time when I was sort of having addictive behavior, even though I never had an addiction per se. But I was, drinking a lot, and there was a time that I experimented with, other drugs and things like that. And just to get through, that whole thing of trying to get through, of not feeling what you're feeling, going, that kind of thing. And then it became very, very bad again right after my daughter, and I was 32 years old. So I was always open to therapy after that. For me personally, I feel I get more from that than I do from taking a pill. That's just me. And I may not be that person that has something as severe as what they thought I did back when I was 23. I think I'm more of the anxiety area than I am of the borderline or the bipolar. Um, but it doesn't mean that there are times that I don't feel like I wish I can reach for something and just have it go away. I deal with it. And I'm always
Mm-hmm.
reading on things. And that's why I think for me, I've had multiple relationships, friendships that were always people that had, some sort of depression, what have you. I mean, there was schizophrenia, bipolar, borderline, addictive personality. I've had addicts up the wazoo. My mother was an alcoholic. My dad was a bad alcoholic, so I grew up with that kind of a background. So for me, I didn't I didn't grab onto anything really, and you would think I would have, like you thought I probably would have followed in the addiction, where I was like, wanting to do the drugs or the drinking, and I went the opposite way. I was like, no, no, no. But it caught up to me, and I don't know, like I can't specify like me personally. I can only say because I'm still, for me, a work in progress, but it's so individualized. It really is. There is not a magical pill. I try to tell this to my best friend all the time with, like, why is this happening to me? And I don't want to deal. I don't know what it is about, and I'm not trying to sound like this, Gary, so excuse me. I don't know what it is about men that don't want to confront the very thing that causes them to have what they have. It's like this need to eat. It's either the flight or the fight response. It's never the in between. It's always the most difficult way to go. And
Right.
I get triggered by that because in my 20s, I was very angry and very defensive and very combative and very like, you couldn't compliment me where I didn't insult you because you were complimenting me. You know, I had a very, very horrible low self-esteem. And I was constantly, you know, my emotions were out there, whether it was good, bad, or indifferent. So today, as I, you know, am in this relationship, there are moments that I find when he gets this way, he gets either in that manic place where he's overly like, you know, oh, I'm no good, I'm a loser, I'm this, I'm that. And I'm like, I'm sitting there, I literally cannot listen to it. I have to leave the fucking room because at that point now I'm triggered. So I try to find better ways of trying to deal with that because I know that you got to try to be the most patient you possibly could, but it's very difficult. I just don't understand the need to this constant block it out, block it out. It's not there. It's not there. I'm not going to deal with it. I don't know what that is, but
Well,
That's the
as
worst
far
thing
as
you can do.
as far as it goes with me, um, I will try not to be graphic on here.
hmm
I was abused and assaulted from 13 to 17, and was raped as well by a female. So I'll get that out real quick. But all that's on my channel.
I know.
I talk
I
about
remember
it.
that.
Okay. Well, you must have watched me for a while if you've
I
seen that.
did.
I
He's been binge watching.
yeah, I don't I can understand that those are, I mean, I won't lie, those videos are kind of cringy. I mean, I can't go back and rewatch those. I certain videos that I make, it's hard for me to even make them. And then I have to
Mm-hmm.
sit there and look at them for hours to edit it. So once it's up, it's up. Um, what's hard for me is I'm very distant. It, my fiance is very patient. I have problems because a lot of men do. Growing
hmm
up, you're told
hmm
not to cry. You're a man. Step up. Blah blah blah. And if there's so many men out there that are abused that don't speak out because that's pretty much what they're told. And somebody came on one of those videos and said, I don't even know why YouTube recommended this crap for me. And I was like, well, thanks for your comment anyway. I mean,
hmm
the thing is like, why'd you click on it?
hmm
It's not like you have to, but I know
Well,
I'm
maybe
getting
it's
off
putting a gun to
of
your head.
topic here. You're right. But my problem, I guess what I'm saying is with men, we're always taught pretty much a lot is to not, pretty much show your feelings, not to
hmm
be, suck it up, toughen up.
Right. Right.
Don't cry about it. If you cry, you're a sissy. Think that was how I was brought up, not from my mother or
hmm
my father, but from the individual who done me that way.
Right.
So, and I'm pretty sure that I even admitted this in a video that was also one reason when I saw. Uh, I'll just refer to the person as TRS, and I'm sure people will catch on to that. That when I saw what they were doing, it kind of reminded me of what I went through and how that person acted to me. And it's how they were manipulating their audience the same way that I was manipulated all those years,
hmm
but in a different matter. It wasn't in a matter of that. It was in a matter of taking advantage of vulnerability from people who had mental health issues. And that completely pissed me off.
Right.
Um, I do think that more men need to speak up, but they are afraid to because they don't know what will happen if they do. They don't know if they're going to have support. They don't know if anybody's going to believe them. I was told on one of my videos, I think I might have deleted the comment. I can't remember what I did with it. A person come on there and said, this whole story is made up.
Oh yeah.
Straight up, that's what they put in the comment. You made this up.
hmm
Do you want to know how much of my life that I wish was just made up?
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, what do I have to get on here and to make up some? I mean, if you watch my channel, it's all over. It gets all over the place and thick in the mental health stuff. Rather it
Mm-hmm.
is abuse, rather it is newly diagnosis, rather it's my fiance looked at me one day. I was making a video and I was like, I haven't took a shower in 3 days. She was like, God, that's gross. And I was like, hey, she's like, you're going to tell them that? I was like, why wouldn't I? There's
Mm-hmm.
other people out here that need to know this too.
Mm-hmm.
They, and I think as I get older, I'm starting to learn. I don't give a shit what people think about me. Yeah,
Amen.
I was calling these videos out that I did about Chris. So the heck with the Rewired Soul. I put it on Chris, and I don't know if I ever said it in those videos. But my thing was, I'm going to do an Eminem. Have you all ever watched 8 Mile?
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
You
Many
ever
times.
seen where he straight up went up there and he told them guys everything about him and then dropped the mic?
Yeah.
That's
I
why
know
I
I live in
feel.
a trailer. I know you're going to say
That
this
was,
about me. Yeah.
yeah, the
So,
final battle. Yeah.
yeah. So when I made those videos, that is why I put all my stuff out there. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't know how it was going to be taken. I had no idea because I threw myself out there. It's yes, I reached out to you. Yes, I said this. Yes, I done that.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell are you going to say now? How are you going to come at me now? Here's
Mm-hmm.
everything about me. Go look at my channel. You called my channel immoral? How? Why is my channel immoral? Because I was raped, because I talk about it. There is a clip even of him and his mom to where he was talking about he was in the rehab center or a 12 step meeting, not a rehab center, excuse me, 12-step meeting, and there was this, I think he said maybe a Filipino kid that was there, and he said that the person had been assaulted, and it was a male. I think they were assaulted and everything else, and the sponsor turned around and looked at that person and told them, stop making up excuses and take responsibility for your actions. And
Mm-hmm.
Chris was like, oh, and then he was like, well, that's when my tough love started. Well, I hate to tell somebody this, but if I had a sponsor to look at me and tell me that, or anybody to look at me and tell me that when what I went through and I know what I went through, I'd probably knock the shit out of them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's not that we're making excuses, but people are hurt. And when they go to talk about it, that's the response that they get is stop making excuses. Well, sometimes it may not be, trying to think of the right words to put it. It may not be the reason. It's not an excuse to act a certain way, even though that reason may be why you act the way you do. Does that make sense?
No, I know. And I want to respond to that because I have been guilty of saying that to my own boyfriend. And it's not because of the actual it is because of the behavior, because a lot of it is he was not abused. He doesn't have that kind of a background. He was more of in a sheltered background where his parents were very sheltering and that
Mhm.
he didn't see like me. I could go into my background, Gary. It's sort of very kind of similar to, yours. I was sexually abused when I was 8 years old by a family friend. My mother was an alcoholic. My dad wasn't around. I basically, took myself to school every day. My mom had agoraphobia for years, didn't want to leave the house. um, I had a lot of reality in my very early childhood. I
You had
didn't
to grow
have
up
a
quick.
Yeah, I didn't have a childhood. The difference between me and my boyfriend is he's always had his parents, and they completely over sheltered him because
Hmm.
his mother, she had multiple miscarriages before him, so he was more of like the sheltered, the protected one. And I get it, but at the same time the mentality is that he was always taught to not be selfish, not think of yourself, help others, always with the family. And when family members die and things like that, it has a very big like shaking things up, because at this point now you have to become your own person. I don't think that he was capable of doing that. So by the time I met him, he was already just having sort of like just always in the spotlight, always had to get attention, always had to be out there. And I caught him off guard one day because he actually said something to the effect of, something about it, he hated himself. And I turned around and I said, don't ever let me hear you say that again, because that's a sin. Don't ever say something like that. And it's sort of how we got together, so to speak. I mean, we were partners. We worked together. Then we became best friends. Then, of course, everything else is history. He's on my channel. If you go to my channel and you see Choly chats, which I included him in, because I wanted to start dialogue, not just of like what I was doing with my channel, but because in my life we deal with other issues. So we would talk about community things or worldly things or depression things. And there's one video, and I let Tanya see this very recently, where
Mm-hmm.
I make him talk about what he thinks or where his bipolar started. And I wish to God he would rewatch it to remind himself that he does understand his disease. Because right now, at this point, he's at a point where it's like he knows nothing, he can do nothing, he's a loser, he's giving up. That's where he's at. And it's so difficult for me to deal with right now. And that's why
I I get that way.
I've had to pull myself, because I'm very public about my life. And I've pulled myself away several times too for other reasons, but I'm very public because I have a channel, because I've always wanted people to know that that I am a real person, that I'm not just any person that's going out there talking about the beauty community. I'm actually a real person that has these issues, and I really would rather discuss that. But I have other interests as well. So that's why my channel is all kinds of like, different things. But the talking ones are the ones I really want to do the most, because this is what I want people to understand, that it's okay, like you said, to tell people things, because you could be helping that other person.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Gary, go ahead.
No, you're good.
No, I know you're about to say something.
I don't know what it was because I actually got stuck listening to what you were saying because, I mean, a lot of that, what you were saying, I could actually relate to.
Hmm.
Um, I feel like that myself.
About
Um,
like you feel like you're like,
sometimes I hate
yeah,
myself.
right.
I mean, and I don't think it's to the point that I really hate myself. I hate what's
Hmm.
happened. I hate that I have to take medicine. I hate that. So when I intend to say I hate myself, that's what I really mean. Sometimes like to be something, not something, but normal. But what's normal? Um, you know, that's what I always
Right,
say. Well,
right,
what's
right.
normal? um, when I was actually told by a therapist that there are some people that don't get depressed and they're normal, and that's normal. And I was like, well, wouldn't that be nice?
Hmm.
I don't even know what that is.
Nope.
And um, I finally came out and told a doctor after going there, I think a couple of years. And I told him, I said, I'm just going to be honest with you. I see things. It was like, I'll sit here and I don't have to be in a manic stage or anything. I could just be chilling watching TV and I'll see a black or a white shadow of a person walk across the room. And they were like, oh, so they mentioned schizoaffective disorder. And I won't lie, I lost my crap in that video I made. I lost it because it was
Hmm.
another label. Now you have a whole different stigma that comes with it.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically, I won't know until I get the test back, but I'm waiting to see what they're going to do. I'm trying not to slip up and say something because I don't know, because I mean, it makes me
Hmm.
work. I mean, don't really want to come out and say it at the moment, but there's just some things that, like, if they switch certain diagnosis, I mean, it is what it is. It'll help me out because I'll be able to, study and maybe try to better understand myself.
Hmm.
But that's a difference, and that's what a lot of people don't know. I do not like if anybody tries to self-diagnose.
Right.
And I also don't like when somebody else tries to pull up a DSM they bought off Amazon and try to tell people what their stuff is.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
you know,
It's a
when
diagnostic tool. It's not the sole thing used in a diagnosis.
yeah,
And that's what most
and
people need to understand.
just because someone help, okay, for instance, I did the same thing. I didn't get paid for it, but I went into meetings to where I was a recovering addict and I was helping people under a therapist who wanted me in there because I had been with her for a while, and this was a few years ago. and she wanted me in there with her because she knew that I could relate to them, and she wanted to know, if I could call BS on some of them that may still be using, and she took me in there to
Mm-hmm.
talk with them. So I mean, I did the same thing. You never heard me on the platform going, I taught groups by myself, and I stood in there with 20 people. It wasn't like that, and
Hmm.
I don't know, just
No, I agree with that. I
I
don't
hate to
like.
keep trying to bring that up, but
That's
I'm
okay.
I'm trying to stay out of it. But I guess it just irks the shit out of me. But
Honestly, you have no idea. If you knew the history here, we have a similar situation, not with a person that does anything like that, but the same kind of like way you feel about Chris is the way we have an issue with somebody who we struggle with here in this community. It's not along the same lines, but it's kind of the same thing where it gets very irritating. We find ourselves, kind of referring back to it because people like that we don't understand. It's not even like the opposite side of they don't understand us. It's like we don't understand that kind of thinking or that kind of a
Mm-hmm.
person.
yeah,
I can't relate to people like that.
I'm probably gonna go on a rant. Hopefully, I don't make anybody upset, and if I do, come straight out and call me out if I'm wrong. But
Oh,
I am so
sure.
tired of people being sheltered, and it's okay if people are sheltered, and and I get that. But don't be living at home with mommy and daddy, getting money given to you and all that shit, and then come out, you get hooked on drugs, you get clean, and then you want to tell me how you did it, and then all of a sudden, because you done that, then I grew up to where a couple of my years, I don't even remember where I lived at because I was so drugged up. I don't know half the time of where I stayed. I grew up in a bad neighborhood. I seen people at like 8 years old getting shot. My house got burned down by a cocktail bomb at 10. I don't want nobody's sympathy. But don't sit there and try to
Right.
tell me what I need to do with my life. You work on your damn self.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
you can't take one person's struggles and compare it to somebody else's, especially if how do I don't want this to come out wrong.
Mm-hmm. No, I know where you're going with this, but go ahead.
If one person's trauma,
Mm-hmm.
say that they're in a traumatic accident, say they were on a four-wheeler and they had a bad accident,
Mm-hmm.
or they had a loved one that passed away. Both of those are very horrible,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
and that can hurt anybody.
Of
I
course.
mean, you know what I'm saying? That I mean that I feel sorry for that to anybody. But then don't and say they ended up getting over their traumatic experience. They ended up being able to overcome that quicker, or maybe in 6 months it didn't bother them anymore, and they were okay to move from that. And I think that is really wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to downplay that at all. But don't turn right around and look at somebody who has been abused, or somebody who was held captive for 3 or 4 years, or somebody who was sexually assaulted, for a week straight, and try to compare your experiences to them,
Mm-hmm.
because there's no way that those are ever going to weigh out to each other.
No, never.
And that is a problem every day. It's just like somebody's with BPD trying to compare their symptoms to somebody who's schizophrenic. You can't really do that. And I don't know why people so much want to like fight the labels. I've been told here lately where I've seen it in several comments, rather I've commented on other videos or my own, that I'm so tired of people wearing mental health as a badge. For one, it's I don't wear my mental health as a badge, but if you think I'm going to stick quiet, like there's people literally that want me to stay quiet about what I talk about on my channel. That's
There's
Really?
not,
always going to be
yeah,
silencers. There's always going to be silencers, and those are the people that I will quite literally tell to go fuck themselves.
yeah, that's
And
not going to happen. I have kept my mouth shut for so long. From 13 to 17, I was abused and I couldn't tell nobody until today. There may be only 3 people that even know who it is. I will not be silent anymore. And that is one reason I started standing up. Now, my channel is not about throwing tea. But like I stated last night, I will bring the whole damn pot if I have to, because I am not going to watch other people take advantage of other people anymore. I'm 38 years old. I'm tired of the kid shit. If people want to be 50 and act like a kid, then damn it, I'll treat you like one.
Amen. And I honestly think, too, that a lot of people are, again, and maybe it's this generation, and I never thought in my entire life I would ever say this generation, because I don't feel like I'm like, the age I am, but I think it's this like desensitized, get over it, move on,
That's it.
kind of, yeah, kind of a privileged, there's so much that they think they know, so they don't want to hear what is actually going on. And for me personally, I'm that type of a person that I can't help feeling what I feel. And I can't get to a bottom of anything unless I'm allowed to express that. And that's the way I feel about another person. I rather would hear all of it, open my heart to it, and allow it in my own personal, just the way I feel, than be completely desensitized and just not care at all. I can't function that way. And that's why people are so afraid to to be real, because there's people out there that have used and have posed as, oh, good night, Nani, thank you. Um, like some of the beauty gurus in our community that have come out with like, oh, my bad behavior because, well, you probably didn't know that I suffer from depression. Oh, here's my link to BetterHelp down there in the comments.
Oh, oh, that made me so mad from
Oh God,
anybody.
it just it pisses me off, because this is what starts the stigma. It's not people like you and me, or a lot of people we know, Gary. It's the people that use this as their crux, as their voice. Oh, it's a trend now, so let's
That's it.
all post an apology video, this is why this idiot got away with it, because he was jumping in the beauty community where he was watching all the other idiots making apology videos. Oh, I'm going to do the same thing, because it's not only going to get me views, but it'll absolve me of bad behavior.
Actually,
Wrong.
you know what happened, right? He actually said, and it's in videos,
Mm-hmm.
his girlfriend and her friend, the ones that jumped me that I put on my channel, their comments, and they're the ones who actually turned him towards the drama community, turned him towards who to watch, and helped him pick the topics. He exposed that. He just don't remember. He talks so much, makes so many videos, he don't remember what he says and what he don't.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I like
Exactly.
to call kind of an habitual liar.
Oh, absolutely. He spiraled so out of control. He probably doesn't even remember what he ate for breakfast. He's
Well,
probably fed so much bullshit in his own mind, whatever he can try to, convince somebody that he has. He doesn't
I
even remember.
I understand that his mom was an alcoholic. My dad was an alcoholic. I understand that he was a drug addict. I was a drug addict. He got sober. I got sober. The problem is that can't compare to everybody. What you
Right.
learned can't help somebody who suffers from PTSD. So
Mm-hmm.
don't tell them to go do mindfulness when it can actually hurt them.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yep.
he's a big mouth blabbergasser that don't know shit. Straight up bluntness, that's how it is. He
And what
pisses
does
me
he
off.
have?
Hmm.
What
I
does
don't
he
like
have?
Chris. He can take his
What
fake apologies and shove them up his ass. Sorry.
mic drop.
But
Don't be
What was it
sorry
that Stone
here.
Cold Steve Austin used to say? You can, or no, was it, no,
Oh,
it was
and
Rock
that's
that
the
used to,
bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
yeah, there
that's
you
it.
go.
That's it.
Hmm.
I like wrestling actually. But
Oh, ditto.
Oh, you're in with the right girl right here.
Ditto.
So,
really, y'all like wrestling too? No, I like some wrestling
well,
now.
she does. I watch it occasionally. I used to be into it. I'm not so much now. The only one I know of
I,
for
you
sure
know,
is,
I got dragged in kicking and screaming back in, Jesus, when did I start watching wrestling? 2005, maybe 2006. Yeah, and yeah. I don't know how that happened to me, but yeah. I am a fan of WWE. I don't know why, but
I am too.
and her boyfriend, even though he doesn't know it yet, is John Cena.
Yeah, there's that. There's that. But I do understand the stigma with him too. So it's all good. But
What
yeah.
do you think about that hair he grew out?
Actually,
What
it
the
kind
hell?
of it suits him. It suits him because he's more now he's trying to establish himself as more like, look at me, I'm John Cena the actor, and blah blah blah.
More
You know,
professional looking.
yeah, yeah. He doesn't look like back to the rapping John Cena we were.
Oh my god.
Oh my God, I remember that.
God, back when C Nation started. Yeah, no, there's
Yep.
he's cleaned up. He cleans up well.
I'll
And
be honest with you. I get. I'm sure I'm going to lose a lot of followers because my channel isn't, about what most of them may have signed up for, and that's okay. I'm not on here to. I'm going to be honest. I'm not on here to make a killing. I'm not on here to gain as many subscribers as I can. My goal to be on YouTube is to help people not feel alone. Whether that's one
Yep.
person, whether it's 5 people, whether it's 1,000 people. To be honest with you, the more people that get on there, the more it's going to make me nervous. I know that
right.
like I'm not physically there, but every time I post that video up now, especially yesterday, and when
Mm-hmm.
the more people I'm getting, the more nervous I'm getting. It's like I'm literally standing up in front of them now talking.
Mm-hmm.
And so every time I
But you're
post it, I'm
not.
like,
You've got no. I don't look at it like that because weren't we just talking about this the other day?
Well, I just said,
That the reason why we do this is especially talking about mental health issues, and people taking advantage of those who may not be in the best state to be making drastic decisions medically for themselves without the help of someone licensed. But we were saying that even if I just help one person feel as if okay, I'm not
and
alone in the fact that I turn into a flaming bitch bag when I'm in my mania instead of the really fun mania where you're productive and
right.
happy and yeah, I get the really shitty one.
I
And
hate the
I make
irritability
jokes
one.
about it.
Oh,
Yeah. That's that. I
I
made a
become
lot of
mean.
mistakes during that one. Yeah. Oh.
My fiance calls me a dickhead.
Oh, honey. I
That's what
would
she
have
tells
loved
me.
to have been called a dickhead. I would have loved to have been called a dickhead in my mania. That would have been the nicest thing someone could have called me in my mania. That's
Well, I'm
how
sure she
gnarly I
could have
am.
called me worse than that. She said, if them people think that you really don't have any problems, why don't you let me get on there and make a video? I'll damn well let them know.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
she,
That family could tell some secrets.
I have
she
been
said,
saying that for years.
let me get on there and tell them how I have to deal with you. They don't see when you wake up. They don't live with you. They're not here. They don't know what the way you are. I'm like,
That's the
hey, I
Yeah,
funny.
try.
the first hour of right after I take my meds, I'm super quiet because I don't want to snap out on my kid. I don't want to snap
That's
out on
how
my
I
parents.
am. That's how I am. When I wake up, it might take 2 to 3 hours, but leave me alone. Let me
Mm-hmm.
until I get up, till I eat and take my meds. If the best way I can describe it is, if somebody isn't comfortable being in their own skin, how can they be nice to anyone else?
Yeah,
That's the only way I know how to explain it.
Right.
I agree
Because
with that.
I feel like ripping my own skin off sometimes, which not going to
Mm-hmm.
do it. But you know what I mean? Like the nerves, it feels like ants are crawling inside and you can't get rid of it and you feel irritable and angry and pulling your hair out. Well, how can you be
Mm-hmm.
nice to someone else when you feel that way?
Try working in retail, having a manic episode.
Oh yes.
Ugh. I have literally worked. I've been on disability for a few years. I did work 4 years, though not for 4 years, but I worked for probably 10 years. And I did telemarketing to being I haven't disclosed this on my channel yet, but I was actually a sign dancer for Little Caesars once. But I ain't even gonna lie, I was out on the corner shaking it, getting quarters thrown at me. But
Hey, that's
that's
free money right there, baby. That's free
I
money right there.
that was my tip. But I'm just
There you
saying.
go.
But I
We
don't even
used
know
to
where the hell I was
where
going.
I used to
But
live. Where I used to live, those times, especially for like the tax places, I would go over there and give them like a $5 tip. I know they're only getting minimum wage to do that. You know,
uh,
it's like, come on. There was one guy. My mom will remember this. There was one guy who where I used to live, there was an island in between three intersections or three parts of the intersection. And this dude would, I swear he was listening to house music because of the way he was dancing. And he was so entertaining one day. We were just after watching him. We went through 2 cycles of light because he was that entertaining. My mom and I both looked at each other. She whipped out a $20 bill from her wallet, and I walked it over to him. I was like, you kept us entertained for 2 cycles of light. I mean, he was that good. It's unbelievable. But the thing is that I'm technically right now an assistant manager at a convenience store.
I no longer can work because the last job I had, I jumped across the desk at the boss.
I almost got into a fight over someone throwing a slushie at me. I tried taking on a dude.
Oh, well, I don't blame you there. Somebody that threw a slushie at me, it'd be over. It was his
girlfriend. It was his girlfriend. I was trying to take on the dude. I don't fight chicks.
I did telemarketing, and people would cuss me out and all this and that, and this person was just across the river from where I live, and they were cussing me up one side and down the other, and I said, you know what? I just work right across the river here, and I get off at 5 o'clock. Why don't you meet me over here at the Civic Center? Mm-hmm. And if they would have fired me if they listened to that, but I just got to the point I didn't care. And and of course, back then I was drinking. That's how I was going through it. Every night I drank, and that's just how I dealt with it. And I did pills while I remember sitting and doing coke at my desk. I mean,
I worked in the radio industry right after I was newly sober. Yeah. The amount of drugs that go in and out of a radio station, and I was in the middle of the burbs in the radio station, and yeah.
Oh, there's an amount that comes out of telemarketing. These telecommunication centers, you wouldn't believe what's in them things.
Oh, I've worked in a telecommunication center. I know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was one of them. You know, I'd come back blasted. I tell you something funny. I noticed today when I woke up, I get an email and it says, "Oh, you have now been monetized."
Wow, that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
All of my videos, I think maybe 10 are monetized. They're not going to monetize my stuff.
You don't know that.
No, they're not. They're all yellow. They're yellow.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Review. You just put them up for manual review. That's all.
Well, it's because I cuss, and it's because my channel's raw and real. Mm-hmm. If they're not going to monetize my videos, heck with them. I'm on here I have no problem with anybody making money, make it right. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Chris was making it wrong. That was not honest. What he was doing was not honest, and I am not for that at all, in what way or at all. But if somebody's going to make money, make it right. So I don't have a problem, with people who are saying, don't make money off mental health, blah, blah, blah. You can make money on mental health. Do it the right way. Mm-hmm. My thing is I'm not on here to make money. But if I can make anything, then I do. And if I ever do, I'm going to donate that or try to figure out, because I'm not the smartest tack in the world or the smartest tool in the shed, but I will try to figure out how to open up my own, my own charity, because I want to help children who are being abused like I was, to get out of things like that. And that's what I would like to do. And I would like to put some of that towards that. So I done this as a hobby to help people. And if money comes along with it, it does. And if it don't, I don't care. So I will just put this lightly. I'm not going to say anything else, but somebody kind of tried to bribe me for a reason, and I turned it down.
Wow.
I'm not about it. I'm just, that's not me. Mm-hmm. As long as I have a place to live and food in my fridge and I'm with my fiance, I can care less about the money. And the reason I say that is because I have lived in the streets, I have slept under trees, and I have been ran over at night and had to stay away to protect my family. So money doesn't mean everything to me.
No, certainly
That's
doesn't.
And I've grown up poor. And with what I have now is the most I've ever had in my whole life.
Same. Same.
And I guess I value life more than I value other people's life. I value other people's health more than dollars. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying that I may not open up a merch store. I really don't know how. Okay, so I would have to research it. But if
Do
anybody
yourself a
buys
favor,
it,
stay away from Teespring. Stay away from Teespring.
well, that's actually where I was going to go.
Yeah, stay away from Teespring. I mean, they offer lower rates, but the quality of the product is not that great.
All right, but I don't know a lot of this, so like, or even how to work half this stuff. So to me, it's like, well, I could do that, and then I don't know. I've the reason I mentioned it was because people have asked me, "Do you have merch?" I'm like, "No." Well, do you have a Patreon? I'm like, "No." And they're like, "Well, how can I help?" I'm like, "Just support each other." Like for now, like I don't know. You know, as far as money, like I don't know. I'm trying to stay as humble as I can. And I
Right.
will tell everybody now, and I will even announce it on my channel in one of my videos eventually soon,
Hmm.
if I remember, because I forget a lot. But I'm saying it here right now. If I ever get big on YouTube, and to me it doesn't matter if I do or not, but if I ever do, if I ever become an arrogant asshole as the person I just stood up to, somebody call me out.
Oh, Tanya, I'm putting you in that one.
That's like
Because I
my
don't want to be
thing.
that person.
Hmm.
No, nobody wants to be that person. I think he would. There's a saying that is the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yeah,
Do I think when he initially started, I'm not even just saying initially started YouTube. When he initially started wanting to help people with recovery, wanting to help people with mental health issues, I think his intention was good. I really do. And even monetizing a mindfulness class where it would be cheaper than going to a therapist if you don't have insurance or whatever the case may be.
true. But when they jumped it up
I
from
under
$25 to
To
a
a
hundred and some
hundred and
dollars,
yeah.
oh
yeah,
my
yeah,
God.
to 100. Yeah, that was a money grab. I'm talking about even when he charged $25. I can understand that because you're putting work into it, and putting it into terms maybe someone who may not understand what mindfulness is into terms that they could understand. I don't know. I didn't look at the course. I didn't nothing. But at the end of the day, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So do I think he initially started out helping people with the old guy, behind the scenes, like, oh boy, I'm gonna make a shit ton of money? Nah, I don't
Well,
think so. But I
I'll be
think the
honest with you.
greed got to him really quick because he wasn't making any money
You
to
can go
get
look
off
at
of
his
the
channel.
$25 thing.
When he really started uh, really pounding drama videos is when he lost his job.
Well, that's the thing is when he
That's when he
admitted that,
started
and I
pounding.
remember seeing it right, and he was a serial uploader, uploading 2 or 3 videos in a day. That right there, and the thing is that you AdSense will catch on to serial uploaders too, and they won't put ads on a video that's 2 or 3 minutes long. They just won't do it. It's not worth their time. It's not worth the ad revenue for a 2-minute video versus someone who's popping in for a 10-minute video and they can run the same ad twice.
Oh, well, his videos he upload 3 times a day. They'd be anywhere 10 and 20 minutes long. I mean, he had an editor. He's had that editor for months. For months. Not that much of his stuff really needed edited. The guy probably did his
No.
thumbnail and filled out the whole keywords. And I mean, I don't really know what role, but I know that he had the editor. And
Mm-hmm.
I know that that's who helped him punch his stuff out, and that's who actually helped him just upload this video. And he plugged his channel at this time, and I'm thinking, dude, I think this is the wrong time to be plugging your channel.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is not the most lovable person right now on YouTube, and you're plugging your channel. I don't know if that's a good stunt. But
What do
No.
what do you think his next move will be now? after, you know,
Oh,
6.
he's coming back. He's coming
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
He's coming back, and he's going to try to play the whole humble mumble. I think he's going to try to play the whole. Uh, how do I put it? Well, actually, I don't. I don't know. The smart move would be for him to come back to own up to it and to just talk about addiction. And if he lost subscribers, eat it.
Yeah. But at that
I
point, do you think anyone really is going to take his
Oh,
him the
he's got
same
some
way?
diehard followers.
Hmm.
He's got some in there that I had one commenting all over my stuff today. This person follows me everywhere I go, anywhere I comment, they're always there.
He's got some stands. He really does. He has some stands. I've seen that. They've been attacking Petty Page. She's gotten videos saying that her child, who has not even graced this earth yet, should die.
Oh, are you kidding?
No, they also attack. I'm not going to mention them out of respect, but they've attacked other people in similar, saying similar things.
My God.
Yeah, they're pretty vicious, and it's and
And
when they said
I'm
that,
not trying
it
to
was
be
when
mean.
she was just talking about it on Twitter. It wasn't even, I don't know what kind of comments she's gotten on her YouTube videos, but these people are vicious.
Wow.
Well, see, the thing about it is, that's what made me mad when he said, "You people in the drama community, you don't understand about crossing over into the realm of mental." There is people there is people, I don't care what community in, that are dealing with mental health issues. I
Yeah.
don't care what they
Yep.
are. I don't care
Yep.
what community they're in. Why does everything have to be split to this community, that community? We're all people. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I understand there's different communities for, different things. One person might like this and like that, and that could be why they split want to say they're that community. But you've seen how everybody came together, and that's probably the first time I've seen that happen anywhere.
Oh no, there was this guy called John Cookian that very thing happened for, because John Cookian is a vile piece of shit over in the UK that I'm sure you heard about it when Shane
I've heard his
Dawson,
name, but I don't
tweeted
know
up.
anything
Yeah,
that happened. I don't know
He
what happened or nothing.
he called Peter Mon, who happens to be another drama channel. He's an addiction specialist too. He has a separate channel talking about that. Calling him a pedophile.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and
So
you
he
should
was
have
calling Peter Bond
seen.
that?
Yes.
Yeah, and you should have seen the drama community. Everyone rallied behind Peter. Even these huge YouTubers, Shane Dawson, PewDiePie, Phil DeFranco, like all these
That's
people,
horrible.
like rallied behind Peter. And it was the most inspiring thing. I'm like, all right, is YouTube finally turning a corner here? Are we finally gonna, nope, that lasted for maybe a month.
I'll disagree with that, because I think that as far as like the drama channel community is concerned, I think that they kind of became more about being commentary than they were about attacking or exposing. I think they actually, because I think now, especially nowadays, I know with Dustin and Nick and a bunch of other people, they're very communicative. Like they band together, and I think it's more now of, yeah, they'll talk about the drama, but it won't be about like exposing things that shouldn't be, or going to dirty levels like John Kukian was doing, like Mango T was doing. These types of people.
Well, you
These
seen
are
this shit that they were throwing shade at me about, right?
the sex thing. Are you talking about
Oh,
the
where
girlfriend?
they were trying to turn around and say
Hmm.
that I'm a pervert and I'm trying to,
Hmm.
and I'm like, hold up. And that really, I mean, I don't like using the word triggered a lot. I try not to use it so much
Hmm.
I'm
because
the
too many
same. I'm
people
the
want to
same.
they want to say trigger when they're only offended because they were spoiled and they got their feelings hurt. And if I piss
Right.
anybody off, then that's their problem.
Right.
But it's the truth because a lot of people use that trigger word for the wrong thing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But he really got me. They really got me on that one because it did trigger my PTSD. There are things that does trigger that, and I will flip a switch, and I don't like myself like that because
Right.
I kind of lose a little control over it.
Right, but you can't help it because of your situation, and you try your best because you know it's eventually you will come back from it a little bit where you can kind of physically say, okay, enough is enough, but you have to allow yourself to feel to a certain extent so you can get through it and move past that situation.
You see, and I'm still trying to learn how to do that.
Well, join the club. I myself, I don't think I have PTSD. I have a lot of other different things, but a lot of my friends who are in the military have PTSD. My ex, my son's father, has severe PTSD to the point where he's now sat in jail for his third DUI here in Texas because he refuses to deal with his PTSD the right way.
And I'm gonna tell you the bad thing is like I've never been in the military, and I just want to set that straight. I'm sure everybody knows, but a lot of people automatically assume that when they hear that from a man, and it's it's not always the case, and that's one reason I talk about things that I do, because I don't think it's taught enough anywhere. It's not even talked enough, and the only time you hear about issues is if something bad happens.
Yeah.
Maybe if there was more awareness, people knew how to deal with people who have mental health issues, then maybe we wouldn't have so much problems or people getting hurt from either side because there would be more understanding. And
well, the thing is too, you got to take into consideration too that there are people who will use their PTSD diagnosis to get out of trouble, and that's where a lot of other things come into play.
You're absolutely right. And not only will they use PTSD, I've seen people use them bipolar to cheat on spouses because they blame it on their hypomanic stage.
Or their hypersexuality.
That's it. And I mean, you do have to own up to your responsibility. There's sometimes that I do things that I don't realize that I did them, and then when it's brought to my attention, I apologize for it.
Absolutely.
And I think that's you have to own up to it and not say, well, that's just the way that I am. And for the longest, I did say, well, that's the way that I am. And as far as temper goes, I will say, well, that's the way I am. However, as far as my temper goes, I'm trying to deal with that. But what I was going to say was the PTSD part. We need more trauma-based therapists. I'm learning now that I can't find one here. I have had therapists to continually cancel appointments till I quit going to them. I've had therapists to tell me they are scared of me. And all I did was talk and start going into flashbacks. I've had therapists to tell me that they are not trained enough to deal with my problems. That's the issue. And when something happens, they go, and I guess that's what I mean by sometimes it's something besides people that use it as an excuse. So say for those that don't use it as an excuse, they go and do something bad. Maybe they try to get help and they can't because it's hard to find. Not from like psych doctors and things like that, but to actually find a therapist that is trained in that can help me. I haven't found one yet. There was one I did have, actually. And the only reason she was good at what she did was because she had problems. Her ex-husband had problems. The sad part is she moved away. He had schizophrenia. He ended up killing her because he thought she was cheating on him with the cops in the attic.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so that was the only therapist I ever had that understood anything. And that was just a sad story. And I don't know, that kind of bums me out. But it's hard to find good doctors. It's hard to find good psychologists, psychiatrists are hard to find, period. Most of the time they want you in and out in 15 minutes.
Good for you. I mean, because that's the other thing too. You got to take into consideration what someone may say. Oh, this doctor was a huge piece of shit to me. Blah 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 blah. Person B could walk in and not have an issue. So it's like you also have to take these reviews with a grain of salt too with some of these psychiatrists, because it's like,
that's it.
All right. How much of that is because they wouldn't give you the drugs you were looking for?
That's right.
baby you instead of pushing you. See, I have to be pushed. In therapy, I have to be pushed. It's because if a therapist is just like, oh, it's okay, and run my back, I don't benefit from that. I'm not going to bother wasting my time.
I can't be
Not going to
pushed
waste
by a
that time.
therapist. I'll go off. But
Right, but that's because you have a different diagnosis.
correct.
You need someone who's willing to ride through it and say, okay, how can we work on a trigger word, or how can we work on doing this or doing that? How
What
about
do
we
you
get you a service
consider?
animal?
What would you consider being pushed from a therapist, Gary?
Well, for instance, I had one therapist that told me, "You know what your problem is, Gary?" I said, "What's that?" They said, "You don't like women." That
Oh,
pissed me off.
Jesus. Okay.
I'm like, okay, how did anything I just sat here and told you? I
God.
mean, how did that?
Hmm.
How did
So
we
that's
arrive to that conclusion?
like, I'm like, oh, like, okay, I just really didn't understand that part at all, and I don't like. Okay, from not really pushy, but here's what I don't like therapists that only teach out of books.
Mm.
I want a therapist who's had their own life experience. I want a
Hmm.
doctor who's had their own life experience because usually, in some cases, they're more, um, they can relate to you more
Right.
Mm-hmm.
because they're going through it themselves. Not always, as we have seen by someone who has recently been on YouTube, that if they became a drug and alcohol counselor like they're trying to do, I would not want somebody like that at all and would probably cuss them out and ask him to walk outside.
Pup said, did your therapist basically call you gay?
Um, I really don't know what they were getting at. I
Hmm.
do know that I stood in their face and called them outside, and then I went and filed a report against them
Mm.
because I was ready to fight, and I'll call them outside. I know that's bad. I don't go around
No, it's
punching
not
holes.
bad.
I don't go around. And here's one thing I can't stand. I can't stand for a man to hit a woman. So when I say that I have anger issues, mine basically go towards men, and I will jump at the foot if anybody hurts my fiance, her girls, my mom, my family, my sister. I'll protect.
Hmm.
And some people don't know how to take that.
If they wouldn't do it themselves, that's why.
So
Because
I
they're too
mean,
much of a vagina to do it.
I just I don't know. I'm trying to. I really don't know. I think I'm getting flustered a little, but I just get very passionate about it, just because like I wasn't always this way. I used to wear my heart on my sleeve, and anybody can push me over.
Mm-hmm.
Then I also was at one point for a few years. Well, that was actually for a long time. I was that way, and now I'm kind of to the point to where I push those who love me and want to get close away.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm at now. Um, I don't really socialize like other than online because when people hear that you're on lithium or you have, schizoaffective disorder or bipolar disorder, they call you crazy, and I go by nickname Crazy Gary. When I go back to where I'm from, which is what we call the hood here, when I go back there, that's what I'm known as. I just own it. It doesn't bother me really. If somebody was continually, here's the difference. If somebody would sit here and call me crazy 10 times to my face to try to piss me off, I'm going to punch them. But if somebody's joking, and they're like, "Hey, what's up, Crazy Gary?" That doesn't bother me. I mean,
Hmm.
it does sometimes, and then sometimes it don't. If that does that make any sense?
It
Sometimes
makes
it does, and sometimes it don't.
it makes perfect sense. It all comes. It's depending on how it's. I've always said this. It depends on how it's delivered. We were just talking about this the other day. It was a situation where somebody was called something, and they're like, "I'm not this," and And it was like, but that should be the worst thing you were ever called. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
you know what I'm saying? It's like things like that. Like I would rather be called crazy than be called a bad mother, or somebody that has no empathy, or you know what I'm saying? There are
That's it.
worse. Yeah, there are worse contexted things that I can take being called crazy all damn day. In fact, I call myself that because, quite
I do
frankly,
too.
it's better than being normal. And what is normal these days? You know what I'm saying? Um, and I've been called a lot of things in my life, and I'm 10 years
Girl,
older.
you ain't alone.
I'm 10 years older than both of y'all, and for me, it's like, um, but I have my moments too, and I am that person that is very emotional, to a point. But I also, like I've said to my friends, I have
I
that sort
actually
of.
thought you were younger.
I get that a lot. Thank you. I have that point of the other side of me is the survivor side. I have that. I'll go kicking and screaming. I don't care who you
That's
are.
me.
Yeah, if you think I'm this nice, as much as I can be this nice, is also how I can be very dangerous. And I don't like that side. So don't pull me there, because it's not a side I'm
Right.
proud of. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
why that's it. That's why I put it on Twitter, and I don't know if I've said it in a video, but I put it somewhere. I'm trying to. It might have been Twitter, or it might have been in a video. I'm not sure, but I've said, don't mistake my mental health issues and my don't mistake me being an advocate for mental health for weakness. Because if you think 1 minute that I won't kick off my shoes and take off my shirt, you got another thing coming.
Yeah, even more so. If you think about it, even more so. It's almost like you feel like you've got some sort of like shield. It might be the crazy shield, but you know what I'm
That
saying?
might be what it is. I mean, I've kind of
Yeah.
been like that. Like once I got out of that abuse, well, I went into a big, actually, after that, I went into a big drug thing pretty much just on a binge. And if I would have died, I'm glad I didn't, but I was pretty much self-destructive. I was on that path to kill myself with drugs, with alcohol, with
Mm-hmm.
whatever, because I felt invincible and I didn't care. But once I got clean, when I was 27, then I actually would have been about 26, but 26, 27, once I got clean, I just changed and I didn't want to die anymore. And my thing is now, used to always be in that passive flight mode,
Right.
and now I'm in that more aggressive fight mode.
I
I,
kind
I
of, I kind of think that it's more of a. It kind of keeps us on our toes than to be just like, oh, ho hum, it is what it is. That's the way life is. See, I have that. I have that at moments, and then the other moments, I'm like, fuck this. Why does
that's
it
it.
have to be that way? You
I think
know,
it goes to a survival mode
it does. It
It
does.
is a
It
survival
absolutely
mode.
does.
because I don't think we're only surviving to live, like breathe and live. We have to
Yeah.
survive each day to live with
Yep.
ourselves. We have
Yep.
to survive each day to get out of bed, to get in the shower, to brush
Yep.
our teeth. Like
Yep.
I don't know if you all relate to that, but a lot of people fight with that every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I didn't used to be passionate like this about this topic. I didn't up
Mm-hmm.
until probably within the past when I made my channel. Just something switched with me, and I was just like, I'm just going to get on here, and this is going to be my, because I couldn't find a correct therapist, and I
Mm-hmm.
hadn't been going to one for a while, and I said I'll use YouTube as therapy, and
That
that's what I did.
that's how I started too. I mean, even though it was like related to, just, oh, well, I see people doing videos talking about shampoo. I'm like, I could do that. Are you kidding me? Um, but the thing is that I figured out, like, I started doing something so trivial, and then I became like part of a couponing community, and talking about, like, how to get free stuff and budgeting and things like that. And it turned into something else because I'm like, I'm putting myself out there. If you go back to my first video, I look like I need oxygen. It's like I literally am like just in between talking. You could see it. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And I can see it, and it's going to sound like I'm being conceited, but I go back and watch everything I do, because I see where I have grown. The good, the bad, the ugly. It's why I hold on to my channel like it's my second child, because this is the only thing I can control, that I can own, that I can say nobody is going to make it anything more than what it really is, because I'm the only one who's responsible for that. And I take that the good way, the bad way, and the ugly way. You know what I'm saying? And there was a point where it was becoming more of a therapy, because here you are, you're talking. You don't necessarily have to look anybody in the eye. You don't necessarily have to hear anybody's feedback right away. And you don't have to get anybody else's like input, because it's all you, and you get to see how good you really are. That's another thing. I have never been that way, that I've said, oh wow, look at me. I look like I'm a happy person. I look like I come across that way. And I know there are moments where I'm sitting there miserable, but I'm like, wow, I like myself. This has helped me to actually like myself, because I spent way too many years hating who the hell I was, hating what I
Yeah.
sounded like, and everything else. And there are
Yeah.
days I still struggle with that. But there are people that relate to me. And what you were saying earlier, Gary, about, never mind the monetization, it's helping people. I've had people email me and leave me comments on my depression series videos saying, oh my God, Choly, thank you for saying these things, because,
Yep.
you know, and that, I have been scrutinized for the fact that my channel is small, that it's basically boring and blah, blah, blah. And I have had more experiences that I'm proud of because of my channel than I would have in my own real life. You know what I'm saying?
Same
So
here. Yeah.
yeah. So it's not, I don't look at it the way everybody else does, like in this particular community that I've chosen to be in. I look at it as, yeah, maybe I'm not in the millions and I'm not getting the PR and the fancy trips and all that other shit, but I've been lucky enough to be able to do other things and to invite people in, and have different types of friends, and just look at myself in a way I couldn't look at myself before. And if that's not an accomplishment, then I don't know what is. It's the
That's
little
true.
things. It's the little things. You gotta really look at that. You would not be able to do this if you didn't love yourself some way. You have to see it that way. Because I'm like, hey, listen, if I think I can help people, I might as well fess up to the fact that, hey, I'm a level, I could be loved just as I'm giving love to people, you know?
The reason I'm sticking with my channel now, and I don't even think I admitted this on my own channel. I've actually just been admitting this to myself recently,
Hmm.
and I hope I don't lose this train of thought. But I think I did. Shit.
It'll come
I
back.
I hate when that happens. Just squirrel and it's gone. I'm telling you.
Squirrel.
Just squirrel and I'm like, where? And it's gone. You should see me trying to sit down and do a video. I'm telling you, I will sit there and gaze sometimes for a minute, and I'm like, damn, would you just spit it out already?
Uh-huh.
I'm like,
When
where do
you're
I
going
start
back and
talking
post and
again?
editing, yeah. It's funny. It's like you see yourself wander off, and it's like, okay, where the fuck did you go? You
I
don't
do it
remember that you
all
were
the
filming
time.
it.
Like, I
You
thought I
don't
was the only
remember you
one
were
that done
filming
that.
it.
Nope.
No. I'm like, I'm watching myself back edit. I'm like, where the fuck did I go? I
Hmm.
was talking about a mascara, and then for 2 or 3 minutes, it's just me looking off into space, like la di da, and you don't remember it when you're filming it. That part scares me. Not gonna lie, because I was never like that as a child. I had no problem talking, none. So when I go back and post and edit it, it's like, where did I go?
I do
Where did
that.
my mind go for those two? And it seems like an eternity when you're watching it back, but then you actually look at the timer on it at the bottom, and it's like, okay, well, that timer was only 2 minutes. Last
I
time
can't
I
believe
saw
I'm
that
not.
happen, it was
I was afraid to
5
tell
minutes.
anybody because I thought I was the only one.
No,
No,
no.
uh-uh.
I can go one step
I think it's the
worse.
meds. I think it's the meds, honestly, because I have fibromyalgia too. So imagine having medicine that makes you foggy anyway, on top of a nerve disorder that makes you foggy because of pain and the nerves misfiring in your brain, and
Jeez.
combine that all together. That's fun. Not really. I don't recommend it for anybody. It sucks. But at the end of the day, when I've edited back and I don't know how much dead time. I'll have to like compile it all together. How much dead time when I'm filming a video, it'll be, okay, well, I'm going to sit down. This BoxyCharm video should only take me 20 minutes, 20 minutes to film. If I'm having a good retention day, an hour to edit, and I will have 35 minutes of total record time, but only 15 minutes of it are usable.
That's what I do.
It's crazy.
Like I do that all the time. Like all the time. It might be a 16-minute video. When I'm done, it's 8 minutes long. I'm like, what the crap?
And those are your bad days. If you think about it as a collective, those are your bad days. Those are your bad days emotionally. Those are your bad days mentally. You're just not in the right headspace. And a lot of times I've scrapped videos because 90% of it was gobbledygook, or
I've done that
90%
recently.
of it I was in outer space, not making any fucking sense. Because what I'll do is I'll film it one day and edit it the next, so that way I don't have any memory of the actual recording. So that way I have to go back and watch the raw footage.
That's what I do usually. I'll usually do it in advance, and I usually record and then usually edit a different day. Sometimes I will, but not often. Usually, it was just not too long ago I done one. I think I even posted it up in the community tab. I don't know where I put it, but I posted it somewhere, or Twitter maybe. I was like, I had a video, but I'm not satisfied with it, and I had to redo it. I mean, because I had picked a topic that I was doing it on, and that whole video that I had that never got released, I never even uploaded it, because it never even made it out of the editor, because once I was doing it, it was 20 minutes long, and it was nothing about the topic. And I'm like, what the hell am I even doing?
Like
I think sometimes
venting back and forth, I was often safe. Often safe.
And sometimes
problem as a child ever.
Sometimes I think I just vent too. Maybe that's what it is. Sometimes I think I'll just start venting, and I'm like, that was nothing what I was even going to put up. So I just leave it alone.
Hi, Blair. For
Hi,
me,
Blair.
it's the opposite. I start talking, and all of a sudden, I can't say it. I can't formulate a sentence, and I'm like, bleh, what is wrong? I will literally sit there going, what is wrong with you? Like, seriously, what is wrong with you?
I do that too.
And you know what? I'll put it up so people will laugh. I'm the
I
person
should.
that if I can't laugh at myself, I can't laugh at anybody else.
Oh, I'm all about that. You know that.
And
That's
Dawn
why I
yells
thought
at me all
about
the time when
changing
I
my
call
intro.
well, that's why she gets mad at me when I call my pills my anti-crazy pills.
It's our crazy post.
Because it's true. They keep me from going crazy. And if you don't laugh about it, you're going to cry. Because it sucks.
That's true.
It sucks having, and the shit that I'm dealing with my job, they're treating it like it's a broken leg, not a broken brain. And they don't realize that this is an ongoing process where a doctor's not going to sit there and be like, okay, yep, you're good to go back to work. No doctor, the 2 doctors I've seen since I've gotten out of that freaking place will clear me for work. Won't do it. Because I'm still trying out dosages. And in order for the dosages and the medicine to work properly, it has to be taken at relatively the same time every day. When I was in there, that was part of my quiet time, was when I went and took my medicine. So Dawn knows that next 15, 20 minutes, I'm just going to pop off of here, because I go night-night until about 9 o'clock in the morning. They knock me right the hell out. And it's been helping out my skin, that much I can tell you, because I'm actually getting sleep.
Well, that's good. I don't sleep much at all.
Yeah, here, brother.
Yeah. I'm liking any more lately. I think I went to bed. I did sleep, but I went to bed at 7 o'clock this morning, and I woke up at 3 p.m. I mean, my sleep's whenever. I may go to bed at 6 in the morning and wake up at 8 in the morning. Like, I never know. So
that's my mom.
Yeah, I went to the psychological evaluation, and it was the second part because they didn't get it done the first part. And the lady goes, "How much sleep did you get last night?" I said, 2 hours. She goes, "Was that all at once, or was it in like an hour apiece?" I said, "No, it was all at once." And um, that's another thing too is I have to watch YouTube sometimes because with all this stuff that has went down recently, there has been times it's triggered my manic episodes to
I was
where
just going to say that. I was just going to
yes,
ask you that. Do you feel, because I remember, a few times that I've posted videos and you get that like pit in your stomach to go there the next day to see what the comments are going to be like, and
Mhm.
how many thumbs down there were when I cared at the moment.
mine
Yep.
wasn't about that. Mine was about the situation that's been going down with the whole TRS with
Hmm.
when I got the one out of Facebook when I made that video, when I found out what was being said about me, and with that being said and all that, that triggered me into I was up for 36 hours.
Oh,
Oh,
jeez.
Yeah, and I had got on YouTube, and that's when I made that video. I stayed on it until it was done, and
well, that's a lot of times you got to work through it. You have to work through it, otherwise it's just going to continue.
I had even left, and we went grocery shopping, and we went here, and we went there, and when I got home, I still wasn't sleepy. I mean, I just so there are things that can happen on the internet. Social media can be good, and social media can be bad.
Oh, yeah.
Um, I think
Mhm.
my when that happened, my fiance told me because this was really before everybody else got involved.
Hmm.
It was in the week I was hammering out the videos on him because I was sick of it. And my fiance was like, "Look, you got to take a." She wouldn't let me for I know it was at least one, if not 2 days. I had to stay off social media
You had to go on a yeah, you had to. I've done it. I've
because
done it because you have to. Otherwise, you
well,
won't stop.
yeah, and it was scaring her of how much further that I could go, it with my problems that I have. And she didn't want to see it like trigger any flashbacks and things like that because it's hard to get me out of. So she was like, "You got to stay off there." And
Do you
that's
have a service animal? That
no, I don't have a trained service animal. I just have an emotional support animal. She's just my puppy, and I love her to death. But I don't have one that's trained. I wouldn't be able to get one because of her. She can't. She won't be around another dog at all. Just the way I train them. But if something, one of these days, like if I didn't have any animals, I would probably try to get a service dog to help me with my PTSD. Um, to be honest about it, because once I get
mhm.
into those flashbacks, I can't pull myself out. And if I've had to literally, she just got a new job, and I can't do it at this new job, but her old job, I had to call her home a handful of times when I caught myself going into them. So when she got here, she could pull me out. I mean, it
Mm,
gets that bad.
yeah, that's why I was asking. I'm like, he sounds like he'd be like a perfect candidate for a PTSD dog.
I need
Like
one, but they're
perfect
like 50
candidate.
grand.
You can get grants. You can also talk to breeders because they get a write-off for their taxes. Like my friend did it.
Uh,
She did it because she has children with special needs. So she would, when she was actively breeding, she would donate one dog per year to a family that had a child with special needs that needed a dog, and she would train the dog for basic commands for service animal, and then she would have you come to train with the dog so that way they could pick up on your triggers when they were
right.
between 4 and 8 weeks old. So, and then she would work on them after that. So you can get, like, if there's a particular breed of dog that you like, you can oftentimes, kind of feel out breeders and seeing if they're willing to help you. It's the reason why it's gonna, if you got a fully trained animal, that's why it's so much money, because the labor hours that go into it. But if you go and even get a dog from the pound, there are people who actually teach courses on how you can train your own service animal to get that certification.
Oh, okay.
Just with dogs from the pound. You know what I mean?
See,
But
I got my little boxer here, and she's not trained at all, except for me training her to keep people away. And but I have noticed that when I'm on the computer, sitting at my desk, if I get worked up, she will come and put her head on my knee. If I am, if I start crying, and now she'll do it to almost, my fiance, and when her daughters come and visit as well, she will get in my face and lick me until I grab her. So I don't know. I mean, she's learning to do that on her own, which I've never had another dog to do it. But it's like she's picking up on things.
well, it's because you release pheromones. That's what they pick up on, and your nerves, they pick up on that stuff. My mom has an emotional support animal, pig. She's not an actual pig. She's a Morkie, but her name is Piggy. But she knows when my mom's about to have an anxiety attack or a panic attack or anything along those lines, just inherently. There are just some dogs who inherently know. That's what their job is.
Yeah, she's a
So she's
full-blooded
really
boxer,
picky.
the one I got here.
Yeah, my friend used to breed. She was into breeding boxers, and then she got into Old English bulldogs. That was that is her specialty, is Old English bulldogs.
I was sitting on a couch once, and I was getting started having flashbacks, and I was by myself. And this was the first time I realized of what she was doing. She'd come to me and would literally climb up on my lap. And when I pushed her away, she kept coming back. And she would start licking me in the face to try. And it actually stopped me from going into one. So,
Oh, that's good.
yeah. And that was actually the first time that ever happened. So I was surprised when she done that. But yeah, I love her to death. She's like my little kid. She's
That's
laying here
good.
sleeping now. But
She's like, I'll
That's
sleep for you
awesome.
if you won't.
yeah, pretty much. She stays with me all the time. Like I don't really go anywhere. I'm live in the country. I don't drive. So the only time I can go anywhere is if my fiance takes me somewhere. So I'm usually here by myself all the time. When she's working. So that's so I did YouTube, and I guess I'm kind of a loner. It's not like I want to be a loner. I do have problems speaking my mind, and so I'm going to harp myself, and because I'm going to be honest. I have problems saying things that probably sometimes shouldn't be said. It's hard for me to always think before I speak. That just what happens. What
Sorry, I
happens
laughed
with me
because
is
that's me.
I speak and then I think about it, and sometimes when I hurt people's feelings, I don't give a shit. And I know people might say that that's mean, and it probably is. But I don't, at that moment, I don't care. And I know that's probably bad, but that's something I'm trying to work on by trying to see about the diagnosis, doing I'm trying to do what I can. And actually, it has only been since I've been with my fiance here recently, and that's why I had to switch my meds, is because we almost had to split up. She was going to leave. She couldn't deal with it anymore. And what was happening was, where I was on Klonopin for 10 years, I was getting to the point to where it was keeping me in a hypomanic stage 24/7.
Oh man, that's a saint that you have there.
Yep.
Yeah, and I didn't know, but it got to the point to where we sat down and talked, and she was close to walking out the door, and I didn't even know it. So she was like, "You need to talk." So I went and talked to the doctor and let him change my medicine. But yeah, I was staying. Those were the nights I was sitting there. I don't do that now, but those were the nights I was sitting down and doing the 6 videos in one night. I mean, literally. And it was when I first started on here, before my meds got changed. I don't know. I know I drove her batty, but I mean, and then here lately, she's like, you do know you say things and you don't care about people's feelings. You don't care to hurt them. I don't mean to do that at all. Sometimes I don't even realize I'm doing that unless somebody calls
Yep.
me out and tells me that. I mean, do you do that?
Yep. I'm the queen of it. I'm the
I
queen of
don't,
it.
you
Everyone
know.
here will attest to that. That knows me, they'll attest to that. I'll apologize, but
No.
shut your pie hole.
Shut your pie hole. Oh, shit. I ain't heard that in forever.
Okay, I'm triggered.
Stop.
That's why I made a video that says, "Are you triggered or are you offended?"
Oh my
And
God, Tanya, that sounds like you. Are you okay or not?
Yep.
Well, I made it
Yep,
because
exactly.
everybody's like, "I'm so triggered," and I'm like, "No, you ain't. You just got your butt hurt because of something I said that offended you. That's not triggered."
I
There's
wonder
a
if
difference.
they.
If you
Go
come to
ahead.
the person and say, "Look, I'm offended by what you just said. That was fucked up," and you call them out on the carpet, and if they can make a reasonable argument for what they said, and you're just up in your feels, then you're mad. You're not triggered.
Correct.
Everybody's
That's it.
triggered nowadays. Just say
Or they're
that they
like,
offended you. I'd much rather hear I offended somebody, especially if I was going out to offend somebody. Like if I call them a freaking cunt canoe or something, and
"Yeah,
they said I triggered them. No, you weren't triggered. You were offended. Big difference.
you got
Big
kids
old difference.
23 years old living at home in their mom's basement playing video games. They tell them to get out and get a job. They throw a fit and go, "You triggered me." No,
Hmm.
you're
Yep.
offended because you need to go do something. You lazy ass.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not. I'm just saying. People are just
Wow. Does
like.
he knows people in this community apparently? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well, I'm not allowed to talk about that.
No one said
Okay, I
I
don't want.
couldn't. No,
I
I'm
don't
just
want to
kidding.
get
I'm
into
just kidding.
something that I
Oh
shouldn't
no
be
no no
in.
no no no! That's a complete tongue. No, complete tongue in cheek. Actually, what I'm trying to say.
You're good.
No, I mean that's just where it comes down to. I mean, if you want to be butthurt, be fucking butthurt. Be all
You
up in
think
your
that? You
feels,
think
but
that?
get in your safe states and leave me the fuck alone.
Let's just say it like it is. There's too many damn people with a golden spoon in their mouth. If they knew what a rough life was really about, then bitch. Other than that, shut the hell up.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I think I'm wondering if Webster's is ever going to do an updated version where they include the word butthurt and triggered and like for the meaning the meaning that it is now.
Oh my gosh,
Oh, it would be
it's.
funny. They would. That'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't even believe like it's what some of the people even use the word trigger for, and I might open a can of worms here, but because you all might disagree with me. Um,
Have we
but
yet?
but here's the way I look at it. I believe that people can agree and disagree as long as you have adult conversations. That's all that matters.
Yeah, we try. We try. This.
Everybody's human. We're not all going to agree with each other. That's just how I feel about it.
Thank you. This community needs to hear that a lot.
Mhm.
A lot.
You know, when this person, and I'm not really, I'm new at meeting a lot of people, and to be honest, I'm thankful for with the Chris and all that happened. I'm actually thankful for that because I've met a lot of great people that I would have never met otherwise.
That's
Especially,
true.
I mean, I've like there's this one lady named Helda. I could go on about other people. Elle loves tea. Allie. There's all kinds of people that I would have never
Josephine.
met.
Unmumsy
Yes,
musings.
yes,
Josephine.
yeah, and I would have never
Love
met them.
her.
And so I'm glad that happened. And there's that damn squirrel again. I really forgot where I was going with that train of thought. This is bad. This is what happens when I make videos, and I'm like, oh my god,
You're in good company.
where the hell was I going with that? The anxieties have anxieties with the damn thing on the back of their sweater. You seen that, right? It was the
Yeah.
hoodie that girl did.
Yeah. Mhm.
My opinion on that is so what?
I mean, there are people who are they're offended by it, and they're right in the way that you shouldn't use anxiety to make a profit on it. But then you
Ah,
get the other side of
see,
the argument of, well, that's what Big Pharma does.
well, I don't
Hello.
look at it that way. Here's how I look at it. I'll be more than happy to make a hoodie that said today, or let me put, I have bipolar on the front, and on the back I say, so don't piss me off. I am not scared to wear that hoodie.
Hmm. No, why not?
Yeah.
Embrace it.
That's it. And that's the way I looked at that. Now, was it lazy at putting the definition on the back of it? Yeah. The definition of anxiety on the back, that was a lazy design. But as far as like the slogan, anxieties have anxieties, that's been a thing, that's been a quote for years. And so I didn't see no problem with that. And I understand that it may offend some people, but damn, nothing would be made if we were always worried about offending somebody.
Well, that didn't start happening until the freaking 90s anyway with the PC police. And now this is what we got.
Yeah, but see, I don't know anything about that person's background. I don't know, nothing of that either. I don't know if that had anything to do with it. I don't know if they have anxiety problems. I don't know, I don't know anything about them.
Mm.
So, I mean, I think that if it's somebody who's just coming up with something to make a profit on, then yeah. But also, I think if it's somebody who maybe deals with things of their own, if you don't want it, don't buy it. Just don't put it up drastically a high price either, just so you can make a killing off of it in your brand. But
Right.
other than that, I mean, like, am I wrong? I mean, what do you all feel? Because y'all kind of got quiet on me on this one. So I know that it can be a split decision, but
No, actually, what I was trying to do, because there was a saying that schizophrenia's had. It was almost like a joke all the time, and I think there were actual shirts made like that too. I'm actually trying to look that up because it kind of relates to this. I think that honestly, if you already know what you are, who you are. I mean, there are people that wear worse shirts out there, worse things on their back. I mean, I've seen some. I'm not even going to go down that road, but I don't think there's anything wrong with it. You know who you are. You. It's almost like tongue in cheek to me. I don't find that to be offensive. So
yeah, then that's the way I look at it. See, I used to have a shirt that said I'm going knuck and futz,
yes, and I've
Yeah.
seen that a million times.
but I guess because it didn't have a mental health issue, or let me see, a label on it, that it was okay. Now, if it said bipolar disorder and then it said I'm going knuck and futz, people would probably scream a fit. To me, you know, but I would wear it proudly because sometimes I feel like I'm going knuck and futz.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
So,
Tanya, I got a little funny quote for you. You'll appreciate this. This my psychiatrist told me I was crazy, and I said I want a second opinion. He said, "Okay, you're ugly too."
oh my God, that's funny.
I love
That's
that.
funny. Thanks for coming, Pop.
Oh, bye, pup.
I'll see you later, pup.
Thanks, pup. Appreciate it. Yep, it'll be up. I'll actually leave this one up.
I'll usually
Provided
take him
nothing
down.
happens.
That's all right. I'm on
No,
here.
no,
You
no,
can
no.
take it down.
No, 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 no,
No.
no, 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 no. Rarely do I. Here's the thing when we were talking about like um, getting worried about our content, that there are times that things here, and very rarely, they get a little, how should I
Out of
say
hand.
this, heated. And
Oh,
I didn't want to promote somebody's pain. So I kind of,
okay.
you know what I'm
I get
saying?
that. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't do it a lot. It rarely ever happens. Most of the time, if I do it, I'm like, oh God, Dawn, what did you say? Because half the times it's me I don't want to hear. So I'm like, okay, putting this on private.
Well,
Yeah, I've
I
been there.
I get any more to where I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I guess it's like this. I think it's one thing I was going to say earlier and I forgot. But anymore, I am to the point to where I have held stuff in for so long that I am who I am, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm finally accepting that I have mental health issues. So why should I stay quiet about it?
Exactly. Because they want you to. That's the problem. Nobody wants to hear it.
Well,
Nobody wants to
I don't.
hear the good, bad, the ugly.
Well, I hate to tell them, but this world ain't full of rainbows and butterflies.
Nope.
I mean, it's not. It. I know for some people it is, because for some people it is. But I mean, it is. But unfortunately, it isn't for all of us,
Right.
and that's just the way that it is. And with the experiences I've had in my life and what I've went through,
Hmm.
if I can help someone, then it makes me know that I didn't go through what I went through for nothing.
For nothing, exactly. I'm of the
Right.
same ilk that there, things happen for a reason, even though I'm not always able uh, to swallow that very, very much, especially in recent time. It's like, oh yeah, everything happens for a reason. I tend to resent that statement at times, and at times I find myself repeating it because I'm like, yeah, it is true. Things do happen for a reason. We're just not supposed to know what that reason is.
Oh, I beat myself up for years wanting to know, and I have for
Hmm.
years and years up until I made my YouTube channel. Well, of the Bipolar Corner, up until I made it and started. And after a few videos, I was like, you know what? Because I seen people were coming. People was like, you know what? You're right. I have this. I don't feel alone now. And I was like, because all these years I've wondered, God, why did I go through all this? Why was all
Hmm.
this? Why, how, I'm still alive. How did I make it through all that? What was the purpose of all this?
Yep.
And now I'm like, I guess it's also to maybe with peace for myself
Yeah.
and also help myself that
Hmm.
if I can share my experiences, no matter how dark they get, because my channel is not full of rainbows and sunshine. It's
Hmm.
not. It gets dark, and I probably talk about a lot of. I mean, out of 80 videos, I think YouTube said they monetized 9, but so it's not very many. But it's just that's how it is. Like there's even a psychological evaluation. They said nope. I'm like, really? Uh,
Yeah,
uh,
they cracked down a couple of years ago on us smaller channels. They pretty much wiped it clean with what you're able to talk about. Oh, now you can't talk about this, or
well,
you know.
here's my thing. I have always been the type of person that if somebody tells me I can't do it, I will.
Hmm.
And so I will tell them just to shove the monetization.
Hmm.
And I'm going to be me. I have seen, if he watches this channel, I have no idea. But I used to like watching and enjoying Boogie 2988. I did.
Hmm.
And then once he went, the whole stopped doing things because he was worrying about, even though he says he wasn't worried about the money and worried about what YouTube did, he quit doing Francis. And I like when he talks about his life and what he did too and shares his experiences.
Hmm.
But for what his channel was built on, it's like he was turning his back on that because of the political correctness.
Right. Well, somebody on the side chat knows who Boogie is.
And I like Boogie.
Hmm.
But that's one thing that I don't want to do to my channel. I don't want to sit and say, okay, well, now that I'm monetized, I'm not going to cuss anymore. And that's not me. That's not who I am. And I'm on YouTube to be myself. And if they don't like it, piss on it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
I.
and that's where I go to, like, so many channels are worried about the money thing. And that's just, I'm not. Like, well, I try to maybe do merch? Maybe. I probably will. I don't know how, but if I figure it out, I might.
It's not.
Uh,
It's not hard.
but then you got to worry about, like I said, people might attack me because some of my stuff might be things that not everybody likes.
Well,
You
believe
know.
me. I have seen merch come and merch go, and people, it's the thing is that what they call it here is that it's your brand, it's you. Um, so you would have to be true to what you know and how people relate to you. So if people know, like if you have a catchphrase, if there's something you say all the time, like on your channel, like you would, that would be something that you would make merch out of, because that's what, how people would know and could identify you.
Break
And
the stigma. That's how I've always been.
well, that's a good t-shirt too, break the stigma. But you know, I've seen a lot of communities do it. I've seen smaller channels do it, bigger channels do it. I feel in a way, and this is just for me, because I've been here 8 years, and I've seen people do merch. I've never tried it because I'm like, oh, who the fuck cares about you? Who wants your face on anything? Like,
That is, I'm not putting my face on that. That's stupid. I don't want my
yeah,
damn face on it. I don't.
it's just, I don't know. It was like back when I started, it was almost like narcissism, because people would like, you know, you're not like the big gurus. Like, why would anybody do it? But nowadays, everybody does it. Everybody has a brand. Everybody wants to ship something out there. I mean, would I,
Well,
if
people's
I,
asking me. They're like, hey, I mean, I got them asking
hey,
me. Like, they've asked me when I had like 150 followers. I'm like, I don't have none of that stuff.
well, you know what? If they give them what they want, give the public what they want. That's what I say. If they're asking for it, then hey, what could it hurt? Make up a few T-shirts, make up a few bumper stickers. People buy it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if they're asking, it's not like you're like forcing it down their throats or anything like
And,
that.
and see, that's one thing that I don't want to do. You know, I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
force nothing down anybody's throats, and I never want to stray away from what my goal actually is, and that's helping other people.
Right. But sometimes in helping other people, because maybe other people talk about, you know, who they're watching, and they're like, oh yeah, you should see this guy's channel, you know, the Bipolar Corner, he's really cool. And they're like, who are you talking about? You know, word of mouth is also a good thing, and public advertising, and you know, it's another way of networking. You know, that's what I can offer to you, is it being a positive thing. Like I said, if people are asking for it, hey, go for it. Who cares? You know, what's
Yeah,
the worst that can
because
happen?
one thing I never want to do, and that's be a sellout that we've seen here lately happen a lot.
Yeah, but I can promise you, Gary, that you would make sure that you wouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, you damn right I would. That's my whole
yeah,
thing. That's what I don't like. I said earlier, if I ever get to where, like my mom used to say, too big for my britches, somebody
britches.
call me out.
Mm-hmm. Because britches can be burned very, very quickly, and a lot of people on YouTube know this.
Yep.
You know, they'll smile to your face and they'll stab you in the back for, you know, just what I don't know. You know, notoriety here is kind of funny these days.
Well, a lot of them on here monetary gain.
Yeah, well, good luck. You know, I mean, like I said, I've been here 8 years. I've been monetized for like, you know, six of those years. The last two, because of the way things changed, I haven't been. I still do what I do. And I'm saying it's not about all that. Never was.
Yeah, I feel. Now I'll go back to what I said a minute ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any problems with anybody making money. It's just the way you do it, and that you do it honest.
Mm-hmm.
And here comes that squirrel again. It might be time for me to take my medicine. But
Well, I already had one drop out for the medicine, so
oh, is that what happened?
yeah, yeah, she's
Is
like she
she out for
said,
the count?
she's out for the count. But she said thank you, and it was awesome talking to you. So
Okay. She dropped out. That's funny.
she did,
I
yeah.
understand it though. I do get it.
Hmm.
I won't let them give me medicine and knock me out. I think it's because I just I want to be alert in
Yeah,
ways, and
I
but
said that too because I'm on no meds. I am of that ilk that I don't. I like to be in control of what happens to me. If it's absolutely necessary, then I'm open to it, obviously. But how much did I miss your comedic presence?